All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. It is Tuesday, February 17th. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We have a couple of earnings after the bell that we are going to get into. Some of them in the SaaS names. You got Palo Alto, which is a big one. Then you have Cadence Design. That's in the semiconductor space. And then you have a couple of others, but Palo Alto and Cadence are going to be the important ones to look at. We ended up getting a relatively green day. I know that right when I left at 11:30, we got a pump and then we got slight dump right before I left. And then we ended up pretty much going green. NVIDIA got all the way up to 187. Right now it's at 185, up about 1.3% of the day. I think I left when it was at 181. So definitely a bigger move from what we were seeing at then. SPY is going to end out green. It looks like in the next 13 minutes, maybe it ends out red. But 682.89, that's up about $1 on the day, fell all the way to 675 in the morning. It would, if you miss the morning, it's almost like nothing happened to the S&P, given it's basically flat. But we are looking like we're going to end green, which is a good thing. Ethereum, a little bit of a bid, 1997. You got Bloom Energy, that's up 2%. That was down in the morning. Palantir was below 130 in the morning. That's back to 132, even though you're getting a red candle right there, but 132.60. Palantir also changes their headquarters from Denver to Miami, which has been a pretty big headline throughout the day. But they're officially going to Miami for their new headquarters. ELF, great day, up 7%. Ulta, up 3%. Intel, down 1%. We also have a lot of 13Fs that we'll talk about before we get into the end of the close or before we get to the bell. We don't have Buffett yet. I'm pretty sure we're going to get Buffett at like 4:30 or 4:15, so about 15, 20 minutes after the bell. We haven't got him yet, but we got a couple of other peoples that I think are still pretty important, and we should be seeing their results in a bit. Affirm right there, that was up 2%. Coinbase was up 0.5%. Again, the S&P 682. The Qs, I think, went green as well. Nope, Qs are trying to go green at the close. They were green for a second. Now they go back to red. Meta, 637, still down on the day. Google fell below 300. Now it's back above it just slightly, 301.71. Tesla almost fell below 400. It was at 401. Now it's at 410, which is not too bad. Again, NVIDIA was kind of leading in terms of the Max 7 today. Amazon, I think, barely above 200. Yeah, 201. So you got about $1 above 200. It went to 196. And then you had Apple that I guess was your safety today, 3.3%. It's up $8, 264. Even though you had some headlines about Siri being delayed, people rotated back into Apple to get some momentum. Now, what is going on in the 13Fs? Let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll keep going from there. Before we do that, actually, one big update on the hood of Robin. They officially announced their venture fund. Vlad did some basically live stream with Shiv, who's the CFO at Robinhood, and they talked about it. It was like 20 minutes. I thought it was relatively simple to understand what exactly they're doing, and they're going to raise $1 billion. They're going to IPO this thing next week, and 2% management fee, way better than a lot of the SPV, special purpose vehicles, that take 20%. So, for anyone who's invested in private companies before, 2% management fee is really not that bad compared to the other fees people have to pay. Retail will be able to sell or buy with zero accreditation. So you don't need to be an accredited investor, which in the United States is $1 million net worth, excluding your home, or $250,000 annual salary. If you don't have that, it doesn't matter. You'll still be able to get access to these companies. Again, you can buy, sell, hold the stakes. They're raising $1 billion and no accreditation that is needed. I think this is a really good move. 2% off $1 billion of management is good for Robinhood. If they scale this to eventually $10 billion in management over the next 4 or 5 years, they'll be able to make a decent chunk of revenue off this. It will probably be the next $100 million line of business for them. However, having said that, I'm not buying into it. I really think some of these valuations are not that attractive, and I'd rather wait until they IPO and then see how the stock does myself. I don't think there has to be this rush to get into some of these companies that are on their Series F funding round. I think, if it was like Series B, Series C, that's a little bit more exciting, but it's good for Robinhood. They're going to make some fees off that. Question is, do you want to be an investor in those companies? But outside of that, I thought that was a pretty good headline for Robinhood today. Robinhood stock relatively flat. NVIDIA trying to break 185 right here at the close, and then the S&P did hit 683. That's at 682.94 right now. Grab also not the worst day. Grab right there up about 3.2%. At 426. Software continued to sell off. Snowflake down 3, Palo Alto down 2, Salesforce down 3, Adobe down 1, IGV down 2.3. ServiceNow CEO literally canceled his pre-planned stock sales, said, I'm going to buy 3 million worth of stock, and boom, red, down 1.5. It got to 112 at one point in the pre-market when that news came out, and then it went down. It's just like nothing is helping these software names unless, I guess, AI ends up being fake so that it's not going to disrupt software. But if that happens, I think that's worse for the broader market. So until these companies show that AI is a tailwind for them and not a headwind, the street's going to continue to believe what they're believing. And unfortunately, a lot of these names are getting put in that bucket, and they're getting hit with it. 105.46 right there is what you have now on service. Now, Trump also just tweeted, we got this from him about 10 minutes ago. Our massive trade deal with Japan is just launched. Japan now officially and financially moving forward with the first set of investments under its $550 billion commitment. We ironically talked about the Japan trade deal this morning to invest in the United States of America. Today, I'm pleased to announce 3 tremendous projects in the strategic areas of oil and gas in the great state of Texas, power generation in the great state of Ohio, and critical minerals in the great state of Georgia. The scale of these projects are so large and cannot be done without one special word: tariffs. The gas power plant in Ohio, a state I won 3 times, will be the largest in history. The LNG facility in the Gulf of America will drive exports and further our country's energy dominance, and our critical minerals facility will end our foolish dependence on foreign sources. America is winning again. Now, look, that's all fine and dandy. The problem is if the Supreme Court comes out on Friday and says, hey, the tariffs are illegal, I'm sure the administration is going to have some type of way to still try to enforce them. But, I mean, does that mean Japan says, hey, we don't need to be forced to invest $550 billion anymore because you can't tariff us if we don't invest that money? So it is one of those things where if he's saying the tariffs are the reason for this to happen, which again, I think the Supreme Court should allow the tariffs to happen, because at this point, it feels like it would be a disaster to renege on all these deals. It could kind of change the dynamic of how the deals are happening from a trade paradigm. So I guess we'll see what happens on Friday if we actually get the response from the Supreme Court. Tesla, big update for them. The first Cybercab came off the production line at Giga Texas. The Cybercab is really important. It's going to be relevant to be able to get a massive amount of robotaxis on the road eventually. You know, the Cybercab was teased for so many years, and then finally they introduced it last year, and now it's officially come off the production line. Also, it's on schedule. I think Elon said by H2, which is second half of the year, they should have a decent amount of these rolling onto the roads. And so you do have some momentum right there in the context of the Cybercab getting off the line at Texas. Also, one of the reasons I'm seeing for why Apple was up today, looking from Bloomberg right here, Apple ramps up work on a glasses pendant and a AirPod with expanded AI capabilities. The devices will be linked to Apple's iPhone and depend on a camera system with varying capabilities. The company aims to release the devices as a part of a shift towards AI-powered hardware, with the glasses potentially being released in 2027 and the AirPods and pendant, like a neck pendant, being released as early as this year or next year. I guess that's the headline, and probably a little bit of a flight to safety, which is what's causing Apple to get a move right here. All right, so the market getting a little bit more excited about the AI devices coming from Apple. Let's look at 13Fs. We got about 6 minutes until the market closes. We will have Technical Tuesday today, which is going to be important. All right, so let's start off with Druckenmiller. He bought calls on Google. He bought XLF, which is financials. This is all in Q4. And the other thing that I thought was relatively interesting is he bought EWZ. For those that don't know EWZ, it is a index that tracks Brazil, or an ETF that tracks Brazil. So his top sales were those, as you can see right there, TSM, I think is the most recognizable name. His top buys were XLF, financials, EWZ, Brazil, and then Google, calls on Google in particular. He exited ARM, MongoDB, Twilio, Vistra, and VRNA. And then his top new positions, again, we talked about it, Brazil, and then XLF. He already had Google, but he had more calls to Google. So, I mean, an interesting set of buys and sells we got from Stanley Druckenmiller, but he's definitely going international, maybe trying to benefit off some of the dollar weakness. And he is also essentially saying that Google is his favorite Mac 7 if he's buying calls on those positions. Then you had Chase Coleman. This guy manages like $35 billion. As you can see, he sold a lot of tech: Reddit, Microsoft, GE Vernova, Webull, AppLovin, Meta. Definitely took some profits on all those positions. One thing he didn't sell was Grab. He actually held on to his entire Grab position. Now, Ray Dalio did sell some of Grab, and Howard Marks did sell some Grab. Not that much. Howard Marks sold like 1%, probably about rebalancing. Ray Dalio actually sold 4 million shares. I think they had 15 million shares, so they definitely trimmed the position by about 30%. So Dalio, not Dalio anymore. I shouldn't say Dalio because he doesn't manage it, but Bridgewater in general, they sold some Grab. Howard Marks sold a little bit of Grab. The other positions Howard Marks added were not that exciting or interesting. Same thing with Bridgewater. But Chase Coleman did not sell any Grab. He kept his 92 million shares. He did add 20% to Netflix, added 20% to Zillow. He bought Wealthfront. He added 43% to Block. We were talking about that in the morning. And he added 700% to Pony AI. A couple of you guys talked about that as well. And Pony AI was one of the names that he purchased. Now, again, we don't have Berkshire yet. That's the one I think we'll get after the bell. That's, I think, the most important one, especially to see what they're doing with UNH. We got the Saudis in the morning. They didn't do anything outside of sell out of take two, but we did get Druckenmiller, Chase Coleman, and Howard Marks in the past hour. Again, just nothing too big. AMD, again, they bought two stocks, SANM and ABSI. Again, not really that relevant, but this is the first time they even disclosed the 13F because they had 100 million in AUM. So that's what you have on 13Fs. Is Palo Alto a buy here before earnings? That's actually a good question, and that leads me to do the pump or dump poll in the chat. That's important. Data Roma is the website I'm looking at for this. I'll put the link in the chat. People can check out their website to get all this information. I don't know if Palo Alto is a buy before earnings, primarily because the SaaS sell-off has been pretty annoying, and I don't know if it's going to affect Palo Alto. It's a cybersecurity company, but it's also theoretically, I think the SaaS sell-off in cybersecurity is absolutely insane. Like, you are not vibe coding endpoint security. Palo Alto does a lot more than that, but the point is you are not vibe coding that. It is absolutely insane to imagine that companies and CIOs are going to say, hey, let's cut out our cybersecurity out of all things with the amount of precious data these tech companies have. That's the last thing they're going to cut. But they're being put into the algorithmic bucket, and it's annoying. I think one thing that could happen today is Palo Alto pump or dump is that Palo Alto shows off some really amazing results in the face of the SaaS sell-off. This is actually the first company since SaaS has been selling off. It's one of the first cybersecurity companies that's putting up earnings. So they should be able to put up numbers today. And I think on the call, they're just going to be like, guys, like AI is a tailwind to our business. And with more AI, you are going to need more cybersecurity. Like, there is no reason you guys should be thinking of us as CRM or sales or Adobe, which, you know, there is, I think, a much deeper threat from the SaaS Armageddon on those companies, even though, that threat should be still minimal compared to Palo Alto or CrowdStrike. So, I mean, we're going to see. This stock is a $113 billion company, does a ton of revenue. I think they're growing at about 20%. If they have some lackluster growth rates, maybe it's down. But I think for the year, a lot of the CrowdStrikes and Palo Alto Zscaler is already down. Yeah, year to date, it's already down 9%. I mean, CrowdStrike is down 9% as well. CrowdStrike over the past 1 year is also down 9%. Palo Alto over the past 1 year is down 21%. So theoretically, also, this is where it bounced. This is where it bounced in October 2024. This was around the same price. They put up a big earnings, and the street took it up to like 210. And obviously it's down from there. So that earnings will be important. And then we have Cadence. Let me know if anyone has Cadence or Palo Alto. Cadence getting smacked right here, down about 5.4%, $77 billion company. This is a chip design company, if I'm not wrong. So very important for the semiconductors to see what they put up. And then Palo Alto, very important for the cybersecurity names, hopefully to completely eliminate some of the SaaS stench that these cybersecurity names have. All right, 20 seconds until the close. We will have Technical Tuesday. Hopefully we get Berkshire's 13F as well after we get some of these earnings. And we'll see what Buffett, it's not Buffett anymore, but I feel like we're all going to reference this. Buffett, did they sell Google? Did they add Google? Did they sell UNH? So those are questions hopefully we get some answers to. And then we'll get into TT later today as well. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Tuesday, February 17th, 4 p.m. The stock market is once again closed. All right. We are back in action. 4-day break, but we are back. Here you go. S&P, we did indeed end green on the day. Did we get 683? We got 682.77. 682.77. NVIDIA, I'm going to bet 184.96. Dude, 184.97. That was good. I want to say 185, but I was like, it's probably right below 185. There you go. 184.97, up 1%. Apple 263, Amazon 201, got that $200 close. Tesla 410, that was down about 1%. Google went below 200 or went below 300, then bounced at 296, now back at 300. And Google getting a close above that 300 level again. Google was 340 around earnings, and unfortunately, earnings weren't good enough. Palantir gets a 1.23% move. I mean, I think Michael Burry is losing his mind a little bit. Palantir said they're moving to Florida, and then Burry's tweet was like, good. Now Florida will build their own version of Palantir. I mean, it didn't even make any sense. Like, it was like, he's just picking on everything they say. He's like, perhaps Miami will build its own Palantir in 5 years. Like, okay, maybe Miami does do that. Maybe that's, I don't know what he's saying at this point. But yeah, Palantir got to 133, a little bit of green on the day. Where did Robinhood end? Rocket Lab also exploded to like 71 almost, closed at 69.89, just under 70, but not too bad for them. Robinhood 75.44, that was down about 1% of the day. CoreWeave 91, Disney 105.46, Nebius, I think, closed 97 and higher, 97.52 on Nebius, slightly down on the day. Iran 41, probably 40.97. ServiceNow, even with the Bill McDermott intent to buy, that was down 1%. And then the S&P right here after hours, slightly down. NVIDIA as well, slightly down. Palo Alto and Cadence, they're up. Cadence is pumping. 6% move. Look at that. 7.7. Looks like Cadence put up some good results. Let's check that out in a second. It's got to be green enough to make the street happy. Cadence, 9%. Congrats to those who have Cadence. That is green. She's greeny green. Now it's 5%. Now it's 4%. Now it's 3%. She better not go red. Not after I said she's greeny green. That's the worst thing when I'm doing earnings. I'm like, she's green. And then it just completely reverses. Let's see if I can get some of these numbers. Cadence is making a move right here. We don't have Palo Alto yet. I think that should be in a couple minutes. We'll see Palo Alto. Don't have the numbers, but she's moving 7%. Okay, it's a double beat. 199 versus 191 of EPS. EPS up 6% year over year. Revenue's up 6% year over year. 1.4 versus 1.42 on the revenue. I mean, the top line numbers are not that exciting, quite frankly. Neither are the growth rates. I imagine guidance has to be where the street is happy here, because outside of that, I don't know if that double beat is the most exciting. However, was this stock down year to date? This stock was indeed down 9% year to date. So as long as they had some decent numbers, I guess it was going higher. 6.3% after hours on Cadence. If a double beat results in green, that's encouraging. Yeah, I mean, given the string of earnings we've had where double beat, down 10%. It's like, okay. I thought that was what Mr. Market wanted. Cadence, trying to see the guidance. Guidance is $6 billion. That's a beat. Backlog, $7.8 billion. Operating margins, 45%. They beat on the fiscal year outlook, beat on revenue, beat on EPS. And it looks like they beat on margins. Yeah, I mean, this is a relatively decent quarter. I don't know how much the street expected for this company, 77 billion market cap, but they beat on pretty much all the levels they needed to beat on here. Revenue again, 1.4 versus 1.42. All right, so Palo Alto is the main one now. Let's see if they can get out of this whole SaaS nonsense. I really do think the SaaS sell-off applying to cybersecurity names is like very. I can understand how you could potentially replace Salesforce or ServiceNow with some AI product, even though I think it's unlikely. But I don't understand how you do that with cybersecurity. Maybe it's because I'm not educated enough in the space, but just generally, it feels less likely. Palo Alto right there, that's up 0.56. Let's see if we can get these numbers pretty soon. IGV, that one still ended down about 2% on the day. All right, we're getting a move. There she is, 3%. Can she go greeny green? 5%. That's greeny green. That's a move. 6%. 7. Can we get above 7? 7.5 would be a real nice candle. 5 and 6 is still a little dicey. It's trying to hold on, but now it's going back and forth. 174 a touch. Now it's at 4. Is AppLovin a SaaS company? Yes, but they're growing so fast that it's weird to me that the market still disregards their growth. 3.3, 4.7. What do you guys think? Put it in the chat right now. You think it dumps red? Put it in the chat. 2.7. It is struggling to hold on to that candle. Do we have a beat? Palo Alto beat top and bottom. EPS, they beat by 10%. That's not a joke. 103 versus 94 cents. Beat by 10%. EPS is up 30% year over year. Revenue's up 15% year over year. 2.59 versus 2.58. They beat by 1% on revenue. Revenue is a beat. EPS is a beat. And they are both up year over year. It is really trying to hold on to 2%. Now it's at 0.8. Now it's at 0.5. It didn't flip red yet. The saving graces, it did not flip red yet. 174. Someone bought it at 174.80 like 30 seconds ago and is pissed. Now she flips red. No. Cadence also losing a lot of its pump. Now it's barely up 2%. Palo Alto. It looks like she wants to go down. Amazon's down too. Why is Amazon getting a 0.5% dump after hours? I mean, honestly, the entire market, everything's not crazy red, but you're seeing some of the big tech names. Google as well, getting a bit red after hours. Cadence barely holding on to that 1% move. Palo now is down 2. Palo Alto Networks down 2%, trying to get some recovery. Palo Alto down 2.3. She's not stopping. This freaking market. Berkshire's out? Okay. Berkshire's out. Are we out? David Tepper's out. Berkshire. Oh, hold on. I don't see Berkshire. I see David Tepper. Let me see if I can find Berkshire real quick. This is important. We'll get back to Palo Alto. Berkshire one's important. Do we have it? Yes, I think we have it. Give me a second. Where is it? It's loading up on all the websites. Let's do Tepper in the meantime. Palo Alto now falling more aggressively, down about 1.4 right there. Tepper, he bought Micron, Meta, Google, and EWY. I think that's South Korea, right? He bought South Korea, which is basically Samsung and SK Hynix. Wow, added 200% to Micron. Again, this is all as of Q4. He sold 10% of NVIDIA. He sold a ton of BABA, sold a ton of AMD, sold a ton of KWeb. AMD, he sold 70% of his AMD. Holy crap. KWeb, this is the China Internet ETF. He sold 35%. He's been long China for a while, though, so it makes sense to take profits. Added 8% to Microsoft, added 50% to American Airlines. He bought Ball Corp as a new position. He sold 20% of BABA. He added 30% to Google, added 200% to Micron, and 62% to Meta. Meta, Micron, and Google were the major buys. He also sold 12% of Amazon. So sold Amazon, sold NVIDIA, added slightly to Microsoft, and added heavy to Google, Micron, and Meta. Berkshire, what do we got? Okay, Berkshire's out. Here we go, folks. Here we go. They sold 4% of their Apple. 4% of their Apple. They sold 9% of Bank of America. Okay. Added 7% to Chevron, buying oil. Added 9% to Chubb Limited. This is the insurance company. They sold 1% of DVA. They sold 3% of Constellation Brands. They added 12% to Domino's Pizza. They sold 77% of their Amazon. They bought the New York Times? Okay. I guess we're going long newspapers again. New York Times. Where the hell is UNH? They kept UNH the same. Okay, so they did nothing with UNH as of Q4. Again, this is 45 days delayed. They bought the New York Times. This is a new position. 5 million shares. $350 million they put into the New York freaking Times. New York Times stock year to date is up 6%. Okay. What about Google? I don't think they did anything with Google. Google and UNH, they did nothing. But they sold 77% of Amazon. That's probably why Amazon had that little candle. Amazon still down after hours. People probably saw that Amazon got sold off. Now, again, Berkshire was never heavy into Amazon like that. They added 9% to Chubb's, 6% to Chevron. They sold Bank of America 9%, sold Apple 4%, sold Amazon 77%, sold 11% of Pool. And then the biggest headline from this Berkshire report is they bought 5 million shares of the New York freaking Times. I mean, why? Why the New York Times? Like, I'm just curious, $350 million into the New York, like, do they think, like, what? I'm just curious, what's the investment? I'm sure they're gonna get some questions on what exactly is the thesis there. on the New York Times. Trying to get more of these Palo Alto numbers because I know that's really important for the guidance. New York Times is probably pumping after hours, right? Did they ever have a stake in the New York Times? NYT is up 1.3%. $11 billion company, by the way. Nano Nuclear, they also had earnings. They had no revenue. EPS, they lost 13 cents versus 3 cents expected. Nano Nuclear is up 1% after hours. No revenue, lost more EPS than expected. Year-over-year EPS is down 44%. Sorry. The street expected them to lose 30 cents. They lost 13 cents. So they beat EPS by 60%, but EPS is down 40% year-over-year. They have no revenue. That stock is slightly up 1% after hours. Okay, let me bring up the Palo Alto stuff. Then we'll go deeper into this Warren Buffett thing. Wow. The New York Times. Someone tell me in the chat why they sold Amazon and bought the New York Times. Again, this is not Buffett anymore. This is Greg Abel. This is his ship now. Newspapers will make a comeback when we have to shut down the internet to defeat AI. I mean, that's a better reason than anything I can think of. Palo Alto, okay. Revenue, again, 15% up year over year. Security ARR increased 33% year over year. Remaining performance obligations up 23% year over year. Third consecutive quarter of 30% non-GAAP operating margin. CEO, we saw continued strength in platformizations, a trend that is accelerating due to AI. Customers are keen to both modernize and normalize their cybersecurity stack, aligning them to our approach. We also saw steady and strong adoption of AI security, which we expect will be a long-term trend. And it looks like they beat on all the metrics they needed to. Their fiscal year 2026 guidance also is beating. It's beating slightly, but it's beating against the expectations. Revenue and EPS also was a beat. I don't know why it went red. I thought those were relatively good earnings, but Palo Alto now dumping 3.2% after being up almost 6.8%. Incredible. What about Cadence? Did Cadence dump too? Cadence is holding on to a 2% move. Palo Alto now down 3.7. Anything on the KOI acquisition? I will go through the earnings and see. I don't see it on the headline here. I imagine they probably will talk about it on the call, especially since that was announced recently. But nothing that I see on the actual headlines right here. The New York Times. Wow. The New York Times. For those that are just joining, the summary is Buffett ended up decreasing his Apple stake by 10 million. Sold off 77% of Apple. He went from 7.7 million shares to 2.2 million. Added heavily to Chubb Limited. Where's Chubb after hours? The insurance play. That's what CBB, right? What's the ticker for Chubb? CB. And then bought the New York Times. CB is flat after hours. I think their average on Amazon was pretty good too. They bought it definitely like below 150. I don't think they didn't buy Amazon recently. They've had those 10 million shares for a while. They've been slowly selling it, but this is a pretty dramatic drop off, 77%. The New York Times. I guess that's what we're doing here. Also, Caesars had earnings today. I don't know about them. Let's get the coverage on Caesars Entertainment.
A loss of $1.23 per share. That was much larger than the 16-cent loss that analysts were expecting, in part because of higher interest expenses. Revenue, however, did come in slightly above estimates. The stock moving slightly higher, up about 2.75% right now. Up next, SOFI.
Okay, Caesars going a little bit the opposite direction of the Win, which kind of got hit on earnings. The Win right there, flat. Caesars just up a little bit after hours. All right, that's what we got. NVIDIA's up 1%. Palo Alto getting jumped 5% now. Why is NVIDIA moving? Why is Palo Alto dumping? Well, we know why Palo Alto's dumping, but NVIDIA 187.47. That was a high of day if you include the after hours intraday move. Maybe there was a 13F where someone bought a lot of NVIDIA. Cactus, if you have the headline, let me know. That was a pretty big candle after hours. AMD dumping. AMD crash. Oh, this has got to be something bad. AMD good, NVIDIA. AMD down 2, NVIDIA up 2. What's the pair trade? NVIDIA to sell Meta millions of chips in multi-year deal. NVIDIA to sell Meta millions of chips in multi-year deal. Holy crap. You know, NVIDIA was acting like she wanted to break out today. NVIDIA was acting like she was trying to break through. She got stopped at 187, came down to 184, and maybe some people knew there was going to be a headline after hours. Wow, NVIDIA to sell. Who's reporting this? Is this Bloomberg? Who's reporting this? NVIDIA Meta. I mean, obviously it makes sense. Financial Times. NVIDIA secures multi-billion-dollar deal with Meta, which doesn't mean AMD's not going to be paying Meta, but it definitely means that NVIDIA is getting some money from Meta. Let's go, baby. I mean, yeah. Zuck said he wants to spend what, $135 billion? Some of that's coming to Daddy Jensen, okay? Some of that is coming to Daddy Jensen. 188 on NVIDIA after hours. I mean, we were at 193 last week, but still, nice to see. Nice to see that. Meta's probably pumping. Meta after hours. Look at that. This is what happens when you partner with NVIDIA. You get your own stock pumps as well. Meta breaking 650 after hours. NVIDIA 187. AMD, though, 197. I don't think this is bearish AMD. Meta's going to be buying a lot of chips from everybody. The market's acting like it's bearish. I don't think that's bearish AMD. Why is that bearish? I thought the CapEx is going to Costco hot dogs. I guess not. I guess it's going to GPUs. And AMD very close to breaking the lows of the day that it had during the day. If it goes down another $1, NVIDIA just booming after hours, 187.70. So could you guys imagine if Berkshire bought NVIDIA? That would be a headline. But instead, they were buying the New York Times. Meta scales AI workloads with NVIDIA Spectrum X Ethernet. NVIDIA Meta announced multi-year strategic partnership. Okay, where's the press release? This means it should be on like their website if they're partnering together. Meta to deploy millions of NVIDIA chips as part of an agreement. Wow, Meta is already the second biggest purchaser of NVIDIA chips. Oh, this is a big headline. This is a big headline. Quote from Jensen, no one deploys AI at Meta scale, integrating frontier research with industrial scale infrastructure to power the world's largest personalization and recommendation system for billions of users. Through deep co-designs across CPUs and GPUs, networking and software, we are bringing the full NVIDIA platform to Meta's researchers and engineers as they build the foundation layer for the next AI frontier. You know, didn't Jensen say last week that he thinks Meta has the best use of AI? I mean, obviously he was hinting. Now we can see in hindsight that there was going to be a nice little deal with Meta. Because if someone was giving me $100 billion, probably over like 4 or 5 years, I would say, yeah, they're these guys know how to use AI. They're amazing at it. Especially when they give me all this money to use AI. Look at that. Meta's up 1.3. AMD's down 4. NVIDIA up 1.2. We got Bill Ackman's 13F. We have the official one. Here we go. Bill Ackman is in. Bought Meta 2.6 million shares. He looks like a genius today, especially with this Meta headline after hours. 2.6 million shares of Meta for Mr. Ackman. Sold 86% of his Google. Oh, that wasn't disclosed a week ago. All we knew is that he bought Meta. We knew that he sold some of his Hilton. He barely sold Hilton, by the way. He sold 0.06%. He barely sold Uber, 0.21. Look at Google, though. Sold 86% of that. Now, he has another Google position. He has GOOG and then GOOGL. But, I mean, still, that's a pretty hefty amount, 86% drawdown. Obviously, he has a ton of Google. He bought this thing at 90, so this one has been working out for him. Hertz, he kept the same. Uber, again, relatively small drop. And then Amazon, he had it 65%. Amazon, he had it 65%. So Berkshire is selling 77% of their Amazon to Ackman, who's buying all those Amazon shares. Now he has 9.6 million shares. And then Meta, brand new position, 2.63 million shares of Meta from Mr. Bill Ackman. So he's rotating from Google to Amazon. Yeah, pretty much. Rotating from Google to Amazon. But it's not really a rotate because, again, he still has the other Google, the Class A shares, which he still has a decent amount. So if anything, it was him taking profits. It's some decent profits, but it's not like he's eliminating Google or anything. It's not like 80% of the entire Google position itself. I'll try to get the exact number on how much Google he sold relative to the other classes of shares he has, but Meta and Amazon is the real story in terms of the rotation. And we've seen that throughout a variety of 13Fs. We saw that with David Tepper as well. NVIDIA up 1.6. Again, the headline after hours, Meta and NVIDIA announced a multi-year strategic partnership to scale AI workloads. Expands confidential computing across Meta platforms. First large-scale Grace-only data center deployment. This is all going to be Grace Blackwell. Collaboration includes Grace and future Vera CPUs as well. So they're going to be implementing those CPUs. Millions of Blackwell and Rubin GPUs as the first large-scale Grace-only data center deployment. And multi-year, I don't have the number of years. It looks like it's about 4 years based on what I'm seeing, but I don't have the exact number. Meta will now be the second largest buyer of NVIDIA chips after this deal as it goes through. That's why Meta and NVIDIA both getting a pump after hours. Palo Alto, are we still dumping? Wow. Almost 6% down on Palo Alto. Once again, what do they have to say? What do they have to say to tell people that AI is not going to kill cybersecurity? I don't know. But Palo Alto down 5, AMD down 3, NVIDIA up 1.5, and Meta up 1.28. NVIDIA Meta platforms aimed at boosting performance per watt, scaling large AI workloads, potential mass deployment by 2027. This is bearish neoclouds? I don't think so. I mean, if you imagine the demand is as high as all these company CEOs are saying it is going to be, then Meta is going to, I mean, Nebius is up after hours. Iren is up after. I think this is bullish neoclouds. I think you're going to need more neoclouds to help implement all this stuff, even if they're going to be building their own data centers. So either the demand for compute is there and it's more demand than we could imagine, and we need everyone to chip in, literally to chip in, or that demand's not real. And if that demand is real, then this should be bullish for all of them. This is also not bearish AMD. Meta's still going to spend a ton of money on AMD. Now, maybe the street wanted Meta to buy a ton of MI450s, and maybe Jensen got in the way of that happening. But it's not like Meta's not going to be buying those MI450s. They might just not be buying as much, which if AMD is still growing at 35% year over year, I don't think that's necessarily the most bearish thing for AMD. But that stock is down about 3.4%. Okay, that's what we got. That is what we got on the 13Fs. Those are the headlines. Why is Arista tanking 11%? They didn't even have earnings. What is going on after hours? What is the headline on Arista? Cactus, what happened on Arista? What the heck did they say? Are they dumping because of Palo Alto? Oh, no, they're... Meta is scaling those AI workloads with NVIDIA Spectrum X, which is actually, I mean, it's basically a competitor to Arista's networking platform. Wow. This Meta NVIDIA deal, this is messing up a lot of different things. I mean, it's helping Meta, it's helping NVIDIA, it's messing up AMD, and it looks like it's hurting Arista. I don't think it's a 13F. It's no dilution. It looks like the headline I'm seeing is the Spectrum X networking that Meta is going to deploy to build out this new Grace data center is from NVIDIA, not from a company that's dedicated to providing networking. Why is ARM up? Is ARM exploding? ARM, why the hell is ARM up 5%? What's happening today? Why is ARM up? I don't see any headline on ARM. Had a really good earnings last week. It broke from like 100 to 125. Took a little bit of a breather. Now it's breaking 130 after hours. We already looked at Berkshire's 13F. New York Times. By the way, that stock really wasn't pumping after hours. New York Times. Well, now it's pumping. It was up 3%. It was up 1% about 20 minutes ago. Now it's up 3%. New York Times is not that volatile though. It doesn't move that aggressively, but it's up 3% after hours. Berkshire, that's his big buy. Ackman is Meta for the big buy, and then Tepper added to big tech. And then you have this NVIDIA Meta headline, which is hurting AMD. I don't know why ARM is pumping. I get why Arista is dumping, although that dump is kind of recovering. It was down 11, now it's down 4. Not sure why ARM is getting the 4% move. Because the ARM makes CPUs for NVIDIA. Yeah, I guess the NVIDIA Meta stuff could also be helping them with that. Honestly, ARM probably knew that the NVIDIA Meta deal was happening before their earnings, and so probably some of their forward guidance had that baked in, which was a really good beat against the analyst expectations. And now the street probably knows exactly why ARM was able to guide that higher, because they know that there's this big Meta contract that's out there for NVIDIA. Broadcom not liking the news. Broadcom, that's down about 1%. Why is SanDisk dumping? SanDisk is not really dumping. It's down 0.68. We do have a headline here. SanDisk registers for share sale by holder Western Digital. Okay, so I guess some sales will be. Well, SanDisk came out of Western Digital, right? It was spun off out of Western Digital, so that means WDC is basically saying they're going to sell some of their shares, or if it's vice versa, it's the same thing. But one of them is going to be selling the other shares right here. Bloomberg says NVIDIA CPUs will be increasingly used for tasks such as data manipulation, machine learning. One of the NVIDIA executives, there's many different kinds of workloads for GPUs. What we found is Grace is an excellent back-end data center CPU, meaning it handles the behind-the-scenes computing tasks. It can actually deliver 2 times the performance per watt on those back-end workloads, which is why NVIDIA and Meta are getting the pump right now. All right. An afternoon filled with many, many headlines. Just to do a final recap, and then we are getting into Technical Tuesday. Berkshire sold some Apple. They sold some Bank of America, and they sold a lot of Amazon. They added the New York Times as their newest position, and they added to Chevron, and they added to Chubb. They did nothing with UNH. They did nothing with Google, and they added 12% to Domino's. Those were the Berkshire headlines. Bill Ackman, he bought Meta. He sold a decent chunk of one of his parts of Google, still has about 2.6 million shares, or sorry, 6.1 million shares of the other part of his Google. And then he bought 65% of an increase to his Amazon position. And then David Tepper bought Google, Meta, Amazon, sold off a little bit of NVIDIA and Microsoft. That's what you got. That's what you got from the 13Fs. And then NVIDIA and Meta, I mean, I did not expect this. Massive, massive multi-year. I would imagine this has to be multi-tens of billions of dollars worth for this deal, if not getting close to that $100 billion level, if it's over 4 or 5 years. Aimed at mass deployment by 2027, boosting performance per watt and scaling large AI workloads with Vera CPUs being developed in a multi-year AI infrastructure partnership for NVIDIA and Meta. That's why AMD is down after hours, because the street is thinking Meta's not going to buy that much from AMD anymore. That's what we got. Oh, and then Palo Alto dumped. I don't know why, but then Palo Alto dumped. So pretty exciting after hours with a variety of headlines going back and forth. Let's get into Technical Tuesday. Let's see how Jason is thinking about the technicals and the state of the market right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again time to roll the intro. What a move, dude.
What's up, buddy?
What a freaking move. How you doing, man?
Happy 13F season.
Happy 13F season. We are here.
We are here. So crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Always this time of year, like you get the 13Fs, it cracks me up sometimes. At least we didn't see anything crazy from Berkshire, but I don't know. Big increase in Micron, but I don't see the stock moving at all. People are like, it's 45 days old. The thing has doubled in the last 45 days. We don't know if they're even still in these things.
Well, that's also true. That's the thing. It's like you don't even know if they're still in it. And that's David Tepper, who added 200% to Micron. The New York Times thing is interesting, though. I don't get that. But
so are we going long Newsweek yet? Wasn't that your pick? No?
Newsmax, yeah. Maybe.
Newsmax. Very, very soon.
All right. Let's get into this market. I know you have a lot of thoughts about what's going on. Last week, we were a little quick because I had to get out of there on Thursday, but we're going to have the full 3 hours today. We'll go through all the indices, all the major macro assets, all the big stocks, and then we'll take audience requests. I'll put a link in the chat for the Google Doc for everyone to check it out.
So what did I say? We left last week.
You left last week saying we need to hold 670. If we lose 670, it gets ugly. And if we recover 685, it's a little bit more bullish than not. But I think your core takeaway was it's choppy. And until we lose one of the moving averages, it's hard to be bullish or bearish.
It's choppy for sure. Let me share my screen. We also left off saying that we would do a little something for an announcement.
Yes, the announcement.
I almost forgot about that. Connie reminded me the big news first.
Okay, so
I mean, so it's a big announcement. It's a big deal. It affects me personally because if you haven't noticed, I think I've actually gained a little weight from this event, which is a typical thing.
okay, so
I'm looking at, but I need your help, you guys. I need your help big time. I have a big dilemma here. What to do if you don't know? Oh, let's go ahead, Amit.
do I share the screen? Ready?
Drum
All
roll,
right.
please.
This is Jason's announcement to everybody.
We are expecting. It is a baby. Another baby. So, truth be told, Amit had approached me about 4 months ago and he said, dude, I really like you. And so we decided that no, I'm joking.
He wouldn't let me name it though, unfortunately. I wanted to name it.
Well, see,
I wanted to name it Carpy, and he was like, no. I was like, what about Vladdy? He was like, no, we're not doing that. I was like, all right.
Vladdy's not bad. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. It's that early.
Oh, you don't? When do you find? Are you gonna?
I mean, we probably could have, but we didn't. But
okay.
But anyway, September. So if you can't tell, my last name is Brown, and I need a poll Amit here because the first one I was really torn. I really wanted to name it Charlie because I love this name Charlie for boy or girl. So
Charlie Brown would hit though. It would.
I'm kind of thinking, dude, are the kids even gonna know who that is? But I love the name. I love the name. I can't get over it.
Okay, so what's the poll? Charlie versus what's the other one?
Well, it's just yes, no. It would. The question is really, would I be a bad parent if I named the child Charlie?
No.
If it's a girl, it would be what? Charlotte, I guess. If it was a boy, it'd be Charles or something like that.
No, but dude, and this kid is gonna grow up. None of the kids in school are gonna be able to bully him over Charlie. None of them are gonna know what Charlie Brown is. Or her. But would you name it Charlie if it's a girl too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking like, okay, that's actually makes it even better. It's a unisex.
I mean, I love the name, but like that's the only reason why the first one didn't get it because
I don't think any of the kids are gonna know what Charlie Brown is.
I don't know either, but let's give it to the chat. Can we get a poll? Yay or nay on Charlie? I mean, I like the name.
I love the name.
I don't know how to see the poll.
I'll pull it up right here.
Wife likes it. Everybody likes the name, and then you think about it for 2 seconds. You're like, oh shit.
I mean, I think it's definitely worth thinking about a little bit more just to get a lot of perspectives. But I like.
I got 60% yeses. Oh man.
Yeah, basically 70-30. I don't know.
It's the first, like, you've got couples together, and now you're actually naming people.
Charlie Paper Gains.
No.
I mean, dude, what if you call it like Theta?
Oh, dude.
Theta Brown.
Like, I'll have to definitely run that through, run that by Mama Gaines, but change my last name.
Dude, I didn't know your last name was Brown. Honestly, I never knew your last name. I'm finding out today what your last name is. But all right, there you go.
Carly. All right.
I don't hate Carly either. Charlie Brown. Theta Jones Brown. Charlie's Gaines. Charlie basis points Brown. You know, that's actually
okay.
Wait, but would you give it like a Japanese name? Would you ever like give it like a?
So my last name is Sei, like SEI, Sei. That's the Japanese name. But so the firstborn got that. I don't know. We could keep it for the second one or not.
No. All right, we will revisit the poll towards the end of the stream. And
I can't see the poll.
We'll this will be a long episode, so we'll have plenty of time at the end to mess around with what people.
It's the only reason why we didn't, because I don't know. Like, I like the name a lot. I don't know.
By the way, NVIDIA sold all of their Applied Digital. NVIDIA sold all of their
Ooh.
Applied Digital in their 13F. Applied Digital down 5% after hours. CoreWeave and Nebius were not sold. They sold is ARM dumping? They sold all of their ARM. ARM is now barely moving after hours. They sold all of their Applied Digital. They sold all of their RX. I know a lot of you guys like that one.
Who is that?
NVIDIA.
Oh, NVIDIA puts out a 13F too?
Yeah, they sold all of their Recursion Pharmaceuticals, all of their WeRide, all of their ARM, all of their Applied Digital. They bought Intel, obviously, Nokia, obviously, SNPS, that's Synapsys. They had to deal with them. That's or Synopsys, that's up 3%. And then CoreWeave and Nebius, they didn't do anything with those.
So when you guys are looking at 13Fs, I know it's just like a quick glance right now. The most important thing about this is what their actual holding percentages are, their net percentages, not like how much they change the position, but like, you know, remember when Buffett added Lulu, but then you like think about it for 2 seconds. Lulu, the stock explodes, but it was like a sub 0.1% or something like that. It's like not even a nominal, like super meaningless size position. If somebody changes something in large percentage in relation to their total holdings, that's a big deal.
Agreed. By the way, Netflix co-CEO just said on CNBC they're going to let Paramount make its move, and then we'll see what the next step is. So I guess this game with Paramount and Warner Brothers will continue. All right, so let's get into the technicals. Let's start off with SPY. I know, Jason, you have a lot of thoughts on this, and
yeah. So last week we left off. Actually, where we left off was
Jason, just give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. You can start with SPY, but I'll be right back. Cool.
All right. So last week we actually left off saying that like we could have a counter trend kind of rally, and that we were more or less at the lows generally across the board. Probably not the right time to freak out, but we could see, what was it, 36 to 48 hours of glory, if you will. This was probably the most muted 36 to 48 hours of glories that I've seen in a long time. But the charts are really in a funky spot. May AI will bring back. You know, there's a what's the phrase? Sell in May, go away. It's not really May. Just so you guys know, the second worst month of the year is, well, everybody knows the first worst month of the year is September. The second worst is actually February. And it starts typically at the end after Valentine's Day in the back half of the year. So we don't really have the best seasonal tailwinds behind us. But anyways, this is kind of where we are. I think the charts are in a funky spot that it's still probably best to sit on your hands. I think the shorts, we get this little bounce. Here's where I am. And I'll just start this timer here. But 670 is this is the low, 672. We don't want to see that get lost. Right now, what we're looking at is definitively at least consolidation. So lower highs from this perspective. If today is a higher low, then that's what we can expect, and some kind of consolidation like this. I will say, though, that the charts are in such a precarious spot that like it's a really hard place to take any major trades. Definitely not if the market kind of rolls over here. Some of these things that may look good now might actually look even better later on. So I still think patience is probably your best bet. But based on where we are today, I could actually see this getting up all the way up to 689, at which point that would lock a second. Let me get the right tool. Another lower high. And so if we're going to get any kind of a counter trend bounce follow through, that's the point at which I would be way more defensive, probably bearish, quite frankly, if we do get up here and actually start failing. Right now, we're still kind of toying around the 20 and the 50-day SMAs, and we could get sucked back into them. I would just caution that sentiment of like, okay, it might look good for a little while. This would be the last of that counter trend bounce, and then I'd need to be really, really more careful or cautious of something actually doing like this. But right now, and this drawing right here, that's pretty accurate of what this is going to look like. And that breakdown is going to look like this down into 670, and then we would have another one like that. But for right now, since this didn't happen, today was one of those days out of the gate where it looked like, it looked red, but to a trader, you could have said, hey, look, this is a day that looks like a red open that could turn green. It's exactly what happened. My biggest problem here chasing any longs is that we're just in such a sketchy spot that a counter trend trading, a counter trend bounce from that perspective is way more risky than anything else. Like it's crazy risky. Like I just don't really want to have anything to do with it. And I'm more like between now and the end of the month, I do like an annual DCA. If you do a DCA on your long terms, by the way, since there's so many investors, I think it's good to do it like twice a year. The end of February, mid-March, I think you could actually do it once, but September remains the big one that you do. So that's what I'd be concerned of. I think right now we're in a spot where, hey, look, we failed to go lower. If you're going to be really bullish, like this is your, here's the last low. We actually held the very, very last low. We're still technically in the broader consolidation. Sorry for the chicken scratch. And we could get a little bit more of a bounce, but this whole market really depends on how far these bounces go. And right now I see this to like 690, but there's so much resistance up at 690 that I'd be really, really cautious if we get there. So for that reason, not really a spot to add. I would be looking at like, because of the seasonality factors and this potential trajectory, if we do get something like that, look, it's actually going to be fast and furious. It might be more like I don't need to buy a lot of time on some protection, probably March, April, something like that, and call it a day and then flip it from there. But right now we're still technically consolidating. Just these bounces are seriously disappointing for right now. But I can see up to 690. That's pretty much it right now. If we go further, look, the highest, it's 691s just in this area. That's exactly where the bears would be actually waiting, right in this area, 691, and then caution again. So this is typical. We were talking about stuff like NVIDIA. Even if NVIDIA were to do something like that, oops, it's all super similar. I just really would have see this between these SMAs. It's getting really choppy. I thought this was going to go down a lot more than it did. It still could. This is very much a sideways market. Just not ideal. But that's SPY. The other indices from a macro perspective to look at right now are two. One, we talked about IGV. That's the software sector. This is just still ultra weak, not new lows, but sitting on the 200-week simple moving average right here. I'm going to go fast through these. 77.5 is that primary, 77's primary support. So not breaking that, sitting on support right now. Still something to watch if this gets a bounce. This is your CRM, Adobe's, things like that, but super weak, not a lot of buyers here. And then the other one is the equal weight S&P 500 called the RSP, if you guys aren't familiar with this. Technically still in its uptrend, barely holding on. This is the one that's kind of more concerning in general. And this is like, if this loses trend, which it has not, by the way, this is where we get our bigger pullback. So this is the one that's probably going to tell you if we're going to get our pullback. That's ticker RSP like from a broader perspective. And then the one that would tell you if we're going to get a bounce is IGV right here from an equity perspective, which this is not bouncing. This is not bouncing at all. And RSP is like sitting on the center line of this channel. You don't want to see this lose the 20-day simple moving average below 200. That would be the first crack in this ETF right here.
So overall, you're thinking that RSP is holding steady, but SPY, if we don't get a break above 691, it's not really.
Yeah. So
both don't have momentum.
I'm thinking we're we're still in transition. So technically, you know, it's only been a trading day and a half since we chatted last. You're very much at risk here. You could get a bounce to 690s here, just like that. And having price action do something like that is super typical before you get a big momentum move to the downside. Seasonally, this is about what we would tend to see. But first test of the lows right now, it held. I'll just say it's, you know, it's not super constructive. Tomorrow, what do we have on the deck tomorrow? Actually,
real quick before that, SanDisk just did a public offering, $3 billion, and down she goes, and down.
Dude, so you mean I should have been short this one?
I know someone who shorted memory today.
I know, but like,
I happen to know someone who shorted memory.
I did put it's a placeholder, but we talked about the memory names last week also, and the week before, that SanDisk specifically and Micron also had actually lost their trend. This white line on my screen, these are the 200 or 20-day simple moving averages. And I keep my charts indicators. I don't use a lot of indicators, but there's an institutional indicator. It's called the 20-day simple moving average, not exponential moving average or anything like that. But when a stock loses the 20-day simple, it typically goes to the 50-day. It's
at 380 on SanDisk.
It's 390. It's a chop down in there. But the truth is that it usually, you lose the 20-day. A lot of the times the 50-day is just a pit stop, man. A lot of times it goes to the 200, but how it gets there, what's the trajectory? By that time, the 200-day might be over here anyways. So you could see something like that. It's not a straight line. It's sometimes something like that.
Okay, for those that don't know, Jason did take a short on Micron today, and I think Micron in sympathy can fall with SanDisk potentially.
Micron is because it did already lose the 220-day simple. This was the trend for memory. And again, memory's been acting so well for so long that, like, as long as it was staying inside its little channel, I would have expected, or I expect it to act right. But Wednesday the 4th, it fell out of the channel, and now I expect it to not act right. And so what was this? Thursday pre-market locks a lower high. So we have a high, lower high. It's like this. You do a trend count. So so this is really large. Let's say higher low. Low. Anyways, this is going to take me a while to do this, but here you have lower high. We just do LL, lower LH, lower high.
Yeah, I mean, look, these companies have also, their share prices have gone so crazy that it makes sense that they take some off the table here.
Yeah, so that's basically where we are. So you have a high here, high, low, lower high, but you broke that prior low. Then you get a lower low, second lower high. You could get this like that. But honestly, I think it's trying to get for 300, give or take. At least the first stop before we get some bounciness. Let me rephrase. I wouldn't be interested in Micron unless it's around 300. I think everybody's like, oh, we chased it so much. 300 is a pretty basic pullback from that, massive earnings run up to 457. We're not screen sharing right now.
Oh yeah, I was going to share this. So Bill Gates' 13F just came out. Didn't do anything other than sell 16% of Microsoft, which obviously he founded the company, and 10% of Berkshire. So Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Berkshire is his largest holding.
Berkshire is his largest holding, and he sold 60% of his Microsoft last Q3. So he continues to sell off Microsoft, and I guess take risk off the
Is he
table.
not a Satya fan anymore, or what's going on, Bill?
I mean, well, he definitely timed the Microsoft sells pretty well. That thing's under
Yeah.
400. He probably got out at least 470, 480. So there you go.
They're older too. They have the Bill and Melinda fund.
Yeah.
They got all kinds of other stuff to do.
All right, we did the S&P. Let's get Bitcoin out of the way. Let's do that. I want to get your thoughts on that, and then we'll get into all the large cap companies and keep going.
All right, you want the 5-minute timer still?
Yeah. By the way, Applied Digital's down 14% because NVIDIA sold their entire stake in this one, WeRide, RX, and ARM. That's why that's down.
So this is what I'm talking about. Like, so Biddy, I mean, does not look good. There's really not anything else to say about this, dude. Yeah, no, so this is not any kind of V recovery, right? Like we have this liquidation, another liquidation event, if you will. Typically, if we're gonna see a V recovery, like this high would have immediately broken. And the fact that we're not, this is just not that. So what this is a choppy, this is chop. So like you have to really be patient and wait. Right now, you know, I'm looking at some consolidation that's basically breaking here. I don't really do this, but 68 at 69,000 is that 2021 all-time high, like way back. This right here, 2021 all-time high. And at minimum, Bitcoin has to reclaim that. Otherwise, then we're looking at these lower levels potentially. Look, I don't know how bearish I want to be, but like I could give you guys my Bitcoin level, but nobody's going to like it. It's just not anywhere. It's still just not close. Unless this gets back over 70 with strength. Like this has got to get over, not even 70, 78.5. 78.5 over this 20-day, like with some strength. You'd have to see something like this. But otherwise here, it's such a funky spot, just like everything else, where it's like.
So hold on. So where do you think it's going?
Dude, I can't really say that.
You like, can say it, bro. Either you're going to be right or wrong. It's just one perspective. Where do you think it's going?
Yeah. So like if this 50-ish level doesn't hold, the next level of support that I have on this chart, and that makes sense for me having been around a while, is not until 20s. So like if things can do whatever they want to do, we have a really ugly.
If that happens, Robinhood's going to $5. I mean, that's
not 5. It's not 5.
I mean, dude,
not
20K is June 2022 levels, bro. 20K.
Look, so typically if we have a 90% drawdown on, you know, it's pretty typical, or like 40s, like it's low 30.
Yeah, but now 30s. We have BlackRock and
nobody cares about that, dude. That's all exit liquidity.
Michael Saylor, he's gonna.
That story's dead, man. The story's dead. But like, here's the thing. It's just not time to get super bullish in general. I can wait a few months till this is in the clear. It's just not in the clear. And so similar to other things, until proven otherwise, I just have to assume that it's currently still going to go down. It's not going down at the same velocity it was right now. So that's a good sign. We're at the 200 week. But yeah, I need to see a lot more from this asset to actually get involved. And remember, I'm a trader. So as a trader, I'm not thinking about that from an investment perspective. I'm just thinking about what are the next waves that could show up. I could still see a wave up to 90. I could ride that, but like it's not. I'm not seeing a big reason to get involved here. And statistically speaking, I think it's like, what is it? What would it be from the highs? Because it's always a 90%, not always. It's typically like a 90% drawdown, right? 78, 80.
Yeah.
That's the 85% drawdown. That's
Well, hold on. You said if it loses 50, it's going to 20, but it hasn't even touched 50 or gotten close.
Right. So I'm not really differentiating from 50 to 60, right? Like I really don't think there's any big value to be had between 68 and 59. This is more of just a wait and see. I think this first move has happened, and best case you get some kind of sideways chop. But if it loses this in strength, that's what we're looking at. Maybe it's 31s. So like it's in this general area right here.
Right.
But I don't see that yet. Although I will say it's a severe downtrend. So until it tells me it's not in a downtrend anymore, I'm just not interested in potentially trying to catch a falling knife. That's where I am on Bitcoin. It needs to tell me that it's ready. And the truth of the matter is that it hasn't told me that it's ready yet. So that's all I can really say. And that's what's true right now. This 20, 30K, that's why I didn't want to say it's like, it's kind of out there. Who knows? It could be craziness. Would I be interested? Yeah, for sure. Right. And so I think that's where I'm at. Like this is where I'm over time, but this is perfect example of like the general market is that things are at general areas right now, but we have seasonal tailwinds, headwinds, and I'm just not seeing the appetite that I'm used to seeing in the market. And so sure, it's an okay spot, but there's not a whole lot in general that's at a great spot. Like no matter like what we're talking about because of those factors, really.
All right, let's do NVIDIA.
This is definitely not a sell, right? Like it's like, all right, well, we'll have to see what happens next. This looks bearish, dude. It does not look good.
I mean, look, I don't know if you're gonna be right or wrong on it going that low, but obviously
that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm not actually putting that out there. Like that's like if it gets there, like if we're below whatever this 200 weekend strength, that's flash crash city, and that's how it works. But you know,
but again, I also think that happens if the broader market, because Bitcoin's already down a lot compared to everything else.
Exactly right. So
like the market needs a 10% haircut for 50,000 to even be in, but maybe not. Maybe it could happen randomly. I mean,
yeah. So like if you didn't sell already, I think it's too late to sell. Also, so I get that. I would just be more into like, give me the blood. Like,
okay, can we do ETH like for like 20 seconds and then let's move on, because it's the same thing as Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin's going down,
Ethereum?
Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's the same thing. Like both.
Yeah, I mean we're at the level, right? So we're at, dude, this is crazy. Like we are at the levels, but my biggest issue, 1850. My biggest issue is that the buyers are just not stepping in.
Correct.
Like they should. It's a big issue. And so I would expect some counter trend bounces around here, but where are they? Like, where are they? And that's a serious question. Like it's a problem. And so
that's why I think people think Ethereum will do something different. At the end of the day, if Bitcoin's going down, ETH is, that's my thing with copper and silver. If silver and gold are going down, copper is going down with it. So yeah, if you think Bitcoin could hit 50, ETH's going probably what, 1,500, less than that?
Dude, ETH is, if it goes anywhere below where it's at right now, it's like no man's land. It's like I couldn't even tell you anymore. Like this entire green box is support. So we just tag the top of support. I guess the bottom of the box goes to 14, but having been around crypto, dude, it does some wild, make no sense kind of stuff, because it is the epitome of supply and demand in its rawest form. There's no circuit breakers. We're talking 365, 24/7, like 24/7, 365 markets, and massive moves, middle of the 2 a.m. Saturday.
No. Obviously, guys, yeah, that would affect Hood, that would affect Coinbase, that would affect BMNR, that would affect MicroStrategy. I mean, all those names are leveraged against Hood the least, but are leveraged against crypto.
Yeah, I think what I could say is that, look, the Big Short more or less played out like these moves. We should see a counter trend rally. But if this little blip on the radar is our counter trend rally, that's super concerning. Like, that's really concerning, from 18.5 to 2150. It's sad is what it is. I'm not making new lows on Ethereum. We're not. But this looks like, honestly, it looks more just like, dude, a lot of sideways action with a handful of liquidation moments in there that ultimately chop sideways. And if you try to trade this, it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Well, you're being honest with us with your thoughts, whether it's bearish or bullish. It's very important. And honestly, the price action kind of supports a lot of what you've been saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a super bear. Actually, I was joking with him, and I was like, look, I'm going to be a perma bull. Like, all of this stuff, if you're an investor, my truth to you guys is you should be begging for lower prices if you're investors in general, because come September, oh yeah, this is the time. Here now, any bounces are going to be counter trend. So it's like, it's rough. And the fact that we're already testing the lows on some of these things like Amazon is just like, that is lame. That is lame. Amazon's lost that consolidation. Is what it is. Sorry. So let's go on to the next ticker.
Okay, so let's do NVIDIA. I'm curious. I mean, because NVIDIA is 8% of the S&P. So can NVIDIA get to 220, 230, and the S&P is still at these levels? I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, no, it's not even kind of thinking about doing that right now. So remember 93, that is, and remains resistance, 193. From here, if we make a lower high again around, like, let's call it, if 193.5 is that resistance that's up here, this red box, if we can't get through this, because we've tried all of this, and mind you, earnings are coming around the corner, all of this, even this, if we can't get through it on this many attempts, and let's say we make a lower high again somewhere around 190s, 191, and it starts to get rejected, that's also concerning, because that would tell me that the people that were selling up here are now selling down here. So we're not even close to thinking that this is going to be a bounce on NVIDIA from a technical perspective. It is sideways. It is range bound. It hasn't gone anywhere. The bottom of the range remains like low 170s. We didn't even get there this morning. What did we open at? Here's a saving grace. One saving grace on NVIDIA is that from these lows here to these more recent highs, if I give you a measurement, that is the 618 retracement right here at 179. So from here to here, this spot is exactly a bullish, that's a bullish retracement. So from here moving forward, what I can say is it can do this, but if it's losing that 79 area, it is more in the 164s, but it's not, you can be an investor here. It's not giving you a discount to invest here. Oh God, did I stop this? It's not giving you a discount to invest at this moment compared to where it's been. When it's been sideways for 200 days, more than however many days that is.
It's almost 7 months, yeah.
So it's still, there are still some buyers, but a lot of sellers too. And the buyers are really stepping in that low 170s area. So if we get there again, you'd want to see them step in again. But again, it's like they were buying here, over here. You got to have like a super long-term time horizon on NVIDIA, because this guy in the near term is not going anywhere unless there's some kind of news headline that changes the story.
Okay. Amazon, which this one, I feel like this one's even a little bit better than NVIDIA because it's already taken the pain.
know.
Going lower.
So it has. So I think last time I said like 188, give or take 185s. That's this last 2021 high. I know everybody's selling Amazon on their 13Fs. If I'm blending fundamentals and technicals here, like there's a bull case to be had. But it is very much like the rest. Like I could see a little bit lower for a better discount.
And to be honest, if NVIDIA and the S&P fall, Amazon's going down with it, right? Even though it's already down so
yeah, for sure. Like, and I have not even taken a legitimate measurement here from a retracement because I've just been trying to fight it for so long. Like, are we really going to pull back? So 189s, give or take, is a point of interest, price of interest, if you will. And dude, these charts are they're not doing me any favors to people right now.
Well, every chart sucks. Literally every chart sucks, unless you're Walmart or Costco. You know,
we could look at those, but this is I think this could get a bounce, right? Like we lost this post earnings, that support right here, this support level. That's right there. This has got to go. And so if we're in retracement territory, like all of this is like, I could see a bounce, like we could get a bounce, but these bounces, I just need to be really careful on stuff like this. So it is 188 still, this 2021 all-time high. That's where a lot of the buyers are. In the meantime, this really needs to get over 211. 211 was that last break. This is kind of like Google at 295 or whatever it was this morning, where like this area here where they were buying in the past, I'm pulling it forward and you look at this and you're like, dude, really? Like you guys liked it over here. I liked it over here. And it came in and like, did they just sell into me? Like, is that what they just did? I'm like, dude, maybe that's the case on that little counter trend bounce, but it's got to get over this level.
So you don't even like buying dips here until they actually reach your levels to the downside. Like you don't think 199 on Amazon is exciting?
No. Like it's cool as long as your time horizon is long enough. Like if you have a 3+ year time horizon, I think anything is fine. Like legitimately anything is fine. But in that instance, you should be also like begging for lower. And maybe you get it, maybe you don't. But all of these are this is a spot right here, right now, under 200. And I would take, just like I did Meta that one time, take one shot, leave it alone. If it's going down, if I'm going to add to this, I want it to be like a meaningful add, not just like because it's slightly lower than when I first bought it add. Like that's just not good enough. I'd want to make it meaningful. And so like for that to happen, like I'd have to be closer to 170s. And this is that lower bounce. See where they wick down here? Sometimes it happens on like really fast, like news events, but you can't speculate that. Like you don't know that a headline's going to come from a technical perspective unless you guys know. But it's just the bounces we should be getting bounces that are bigger and better. And the fact
why do you personally think we're not getting any meaningful bounces?
I think it's a lot of the seasonal like headwinds, dude. Like is that the right word? Headwinds?
Yeah.
So like it's like, you know, I posted something on my X the other day. It's like, happy Valentine's Day. Will you be my exit liquidity? Like, it's not a joke. Like February is like notoriously the second worst month of the year. Actually, if you guys don't know,
February does suck, especially the second part of February.
It is the second part of February that sucks. And it starts after Oops, Jiminy crikey. And it starts after Valentine's Day. So here's what 6 year good enough?
Yeah.
So monthly. This is February, 6 year. So this is seasonality, 6 years. It's right here. And it if I do the week of the year, so we are here over the last 6 years, we could get a counter trend bounce that goes into next week. So like 50% of the time we're green, but we're green by one. God, is that even a negative 1% for a whole week? And then it's just boom, boom, boom into March, and then it gets a little choppy. And everybody knows September is notoriously bloody. But on average, the month is the second worst of the year. The first worst being September.
Right.
And in here, you know, we always get this little push June to July. So that's all I'm really seeing. But this is your seasonality. This is true. Like I can't make this up. This is TrendSpider if you guys don't know. But yeah.
Okay. Can we do Palantir? Very curious on your thoughts on that one.
This is 10-year seasonality. It just gets worse. Take it off my screen.
But that's also good because, you know, historically it explains that February just sucks.
February just sucks, right? So it's like you can plan a DCA twice a year, once at the end of February after the bleeding is done, and then in September. That's how you do it. But we're here at it's technically the first day of the bear season. So
yeah, no, literally. So Palantir moved their headquarters to Miami today, by the way. I just want to show people this because I thought this headline.
I heard that.
James Fishback, who is this guy who's running for governor of Florida, put out a statement saying he will eliminate Palantir from the entire Floridian government if he becomes elected. And the funniest thing about this guy is just another retail investor who's now running for governor. And he actually messaged me back in freaking September saying we should replace Palantir with Google in the Mag 7. And what's so funny about this is, number one, he was dead wrong about Google being kicked out of the Mag 7. Number two, September 2024, for some reason, Palantir hasn't changed that much since then as a company. They've had the same values for 20 years. He wanted to replace Palantir in the Mag 7 and kick out Google. And today he is saying, I will eliminate Palantir from operating in Florida and I would ban them from being with the government. So
why?
Well, because his base hates Palantir and he's appealing to his base. And obviously he knows it'll get them riled up. But obviously there's just a ton of headlines on the stock with all the Michael Burry stuff over the weekend. And
did I hear that Burry had a bull case for IBM? Like, do not get me started if that was what I heard.
Well, he definitely has a bull case for GameStop and Molina Healthcare. IBM, I don't know if I saw that, but
okay,
he definitely has a short case for Palantir. Yeah. And my quick thoughts on this, I don't think Palantir can go down just because Burry's upset. I think the market has to go down for Palantir to go down as well.
Oh, yeah. No, I think his logic, wasn't it like saying that Palantir is IBM like? But
basically he said Palantir is a consulting firm. That's what I got from him over the weekend.
Except IBM's consulting is for really old tech, like really old tech. And if AI is actually coming, ain't nobody buying mainframes anymore, man. That's all I know.
Correct.
But anyways.
Yeah, what do you think? Do the technicals say it's I've heard stage 4 downtrend all weekend. Is that what you're seeing? Like, what do you think is going on here?
No, that's not till later. We're like stage 2. Like we're like stage 2, stage 3. Stage 4 comes September. So we get a bounce in between stage 2 and 4. That's where's my bounce, guys? That's what I'm saying. Like, where's the bounce? And it's just super muted. So I legitimately think that we could have a green day tomorrow, especially with like 13F season and things like that. But it's not so much about the day-to-day that I'm worried about. It's more about the broader trend. And the broader trend is like these little bounces are getting sold into, and they're not able to go as high as they typically should. and we are losing trend on a lot of things. Like my hoodie is yeah, it bounced off 70, but like where is it right now? 75, like we're not even over 80. I'm like, okay, what what's happening here?
Okay, so you think it's in a downtrend like a lot of other growth stocks, and essentially it has to reclaim certain levels, kind of just like the S&P in general.
Yeah, Palantir, I believe, is actually the largest component of that IGV ETF that I brought up before. This technically is 125 is a price of interest. So this is, again, it's at a spot, it's at a price of interest. So here we are, you're in what we would call like the golden pocket. So it's not, so Palantir here is not so much about the day-to-day anymore. It's about the broader trend. Like, could I see this go down to 115? Yeah. And I could see it be at 115 for just like a little bit of time. That would be the near term short target or price of interest to actually maybe pick a little bit up. But again, pick a little bit up is for how long. It's like, we need to see big things changes, because big things change. Because otherwise, like it could do this, which is that 50% give or take counter trend rally, which by the way, between March and July, that 50% rally, I would expect that to happen or to be able to happen, but only to lock a lower high, which would turn us around. So like that, it's about 115. If this is over 137, maybe we don't need to go down to 115, but we're stuck in kind of like that no man's land where, you know, maybe people start picking at it, like nibbling at it, but it's not over yet. It's just in, here's the zone. So let me just move this. So the zone is here. A typical bullish retracement is all the way down here. For me, I'm saying 115 because I really like to get like in the weeds on these sometimes. And there's this exact level, like right over here. But on something like this, 115 is exactly Robinhood at 70. So we're not Robinhood at 70. It's what we call like a 6.5 retracement from that. This.
So what is Robinhood at 70 for Palantir? Is that like 100?
No, it's 115.
115. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it is exactly 115. So we're really close. And so like I look across the market and I'm exactly right here. Like I'm exactly like, okay, guys, we've hit our downside targets, but where are the buyers? You like they're either cautious or they're waiting for a while, which means that like we're not getting a V-shaped recovery.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just going to be a couple weeks until they show up. And that means that between now and a couple weeks from now, in the end of February slop, it could just be like really boring. Because some of these things will bottom first. So like hoodie, I hope, has bottomed early. Palantir might have bottomed early, but that means I still might have Google that can come down if it loses that 295. I still might have Microsoft that can come down a little bit more. Apple's bucking the trend like crazy right now. I don't know if we've seen, let's do Apple real quick. So Apple, since I just ran out of time, everybody get targets on everything. I think it's like Palantir 115s. I think I said that quickly last week, but Apple is doing something that it's supposed to do, but again, it's not, it's nice. What's Apple up today? 3%, which is a big day for Apple. I mean, this is a counter trend rally, a counter trend bounce, but my problem is that it's not it's a bounce right into a lower high, right? Because if this is my high, that's lower. And okay, if this is my low, I'm at least at an equal low here. So this for sure needs to hold over 260. So it's not so much about this, like, well, it is this week. And maybe things can get a little bit of a chop like this, but I don't want to see those lows get lost. If we start losing last week's lows, which we're not yet, then we have more work to do to the downside.
Can we do the space names? Rocket Lab,
Yeah.
yes.
Rocket Lab remains 60. These red lines here, that's the down channel. Everything is looking the same.
It's looking the same, right? Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say.
exactly the same. So like you want it, so everything has like this little downward channel right here. And basically what we're looking for is like you connect these high, these lower highs, and you connect these lower lows and you get a little channel. What
Yeah.
we're looking for is for these things to get up and out of their channels. And like, sure, we can bounce a little bit, then expect a little pullback. And that little pullback, I need to lock a lower high, but that means that this has to get over 77. And then I can start looking for a dip around the 70s. But if it doesn't do that, it's just staying in this channel. And I'm not even, like, I really want to be bullish. Like, I really do. Like, they're not letting me. And I'm very upset about it, dude.
Well,
I
and
need to
again,
stop this.
yeah, and again, a name like Rocket Lab, which, so I'm curious, when it got to 99 in January, do you think that was all bullshit? Like, why did it get that high? And now was that algos?
No, it's sentiment. Like, it's the whole market environment. Like the market environment is scared. Like they're teetering between like fear and greed, right? But before it was just all greed. It was momentum, not bullshit, but it was legit momentum, legitimate momentum between the rhetoric and the storyline for the space crew, space mob, if you will, the whole nine, right? Technicals lined up, everything was looking good. There's no reason that it should like turn around. Launches are on schedule. There's a lot of things to look forward to. And then you get there and it's like, well, okay, so now we're pulling back. What have you done for me lately? And the market is fickle, like just fickle. At least prices are.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's normal from that perspective. But yeah, so if I see Rocket Lab trade over 75s, then I'll be a little bit more interested in potentially looking for a dip. These guys have earnings at the end of the month though. So if we get this dip to 60, let's say on Rocket Lab, this is all tradable. It's not even investable. So if you get a dip to 60 before earnings, because it's at the end of the month, I could see it bounce back to basically where it is now, which could be a good trade, but it's a very short-term trade.
Can we do ASTS, which I think is almost the exact same looking chart?
No, this one's worse, dude.
Well, they ended up diluting, which caused a much bigger drawdown. But I agree. Look, ASTS and Rocket Lab, they are going to have to demolish earnings as well. Just like Palantir had to demolish earnings and still got whapped. Hood had a pretty good earnings, still got whapped. Like, if you don't beat earnings and you have a multiple on your stock and you're already in a downtrend, it gets ugly, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't ASTS. There was another name that was, ONDS maybe, that looked a little bit like this. We could look at that next, actually, if you want to. But it was like at the top of this range. So like this whole thing is that zone, this red box. And so the retracement from that zone is 76, basically. And I think that's, well, I don't think that is what I have lined out right there. Got to 79, but this is not, dude, where's the space crew even? Like, what are they doing? Where, like, this, if it's over 89, I'm liking this a lot better. But again, as a trader, my job is just to identify where the moves are going to happen. And I'm not trying to snipe the lows and snipe the highs. So this is an interesting spot. But when something gets to my level, like I might have a level. So this is at a level. What I need to see is I need to see buyers step in. And where we are is because we're at a lot of levels for me, a lot of near-term levels. But I'm not seeing the buyers step in. And that is not what I want to see. Because that tells me that if this spot is not incentivizing people enough to jump in with strength, for whatever reason, maybe albeit like geopolitical headwinds, I don't know, just shenanigans, like market sentiment. Well, it would need to go lower to get people more incentivized. And at that point, that's 55s. But and that's literally all the way back. You'd be giving it all back. Well, I mean, it's not all of it, all relatively speaking.
What's the downside target on ASTS you see?
Like 55. 55, but that doesn't come into play until we're under like 73s. So here now, it's like we're at a spot where I can actually see some congestion happening. Ideally, I'd like to see, so like if we don't make new lows, then I think that we could get more bounces, because both are happening. Both the sellers are decelerating, and at the same time, the buyers are overly cautious. And so that creates this kind of like tug of war where stocks sometimes go sideways. They run and then they rest. And a lot of these things look like they might be in a bit of a resting period. And that would be best case scenario.
ONDS?
Yeah, so it was over here, 12s. So that was the top of this box. And I was like, it would need to get over that. So now we're not over that. This one, okay. So this had a bigger bounce today, didn't it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Once the market turned, this one really turned. Also, there was a press release today.
Was it? Okay. So this is the higher beta one. So like it's right into this support, the center line, middle area. I'm just going to move this into a basic.
They had a German state police contract today.
Yeah. So this holding over 9s is better. The thing is, it's better for right this moment. If you can get a higher low and we see people step in again, I can see that push into 12s, which becomes a tradable range. But that's what this range, 9 to 12, is where the range is. I can't say anything higher until we're over 12 if we get something like that. So this one is what I was saying, like I'd like to see on Rocket Lab, literally that. I took this. So we have, let me just not do my lines and let me just do an automated channel to see if we're out. So it's poking its head out just slightly. Yeah, so this stays the same. Like if this can hold 9s, that's good. You lose 9s, then it's in the 6s. And I would be really, really cautious about this one because we are so. Let me check one thing on this. This is a more interesting chart, not gonna lie. Definitely more interesting. Yeah, so 1150. So this 12 would be normal, but a muted bounce would take you to 1150, which if that's all this gets, and then it stops, and then you get a little fade, that's what I don't want to see.
No. I mean, again, I say you're right. A lot of these trend lines are just down. And to your question, why aren't the buyers stepping in?
Where are the buyers?
I think everyone's scared. Now, I looked at some charts this morning. Retail has been buying the dip aggressively, but you kind of need the big guys to help push this.
That reminds me, do you guys still look at this National Association of Active Investment Managers?
No.
So a lot of people look at things like Fear and Greed Index or the VIX or things like that, or sentiment surveys, sentiment surveys, consumer sentiment, whatever, things like that. This is not a survey. So this is not your opinion. This is actually the money that's in the market. It's just NAAIM.org. Anybody that's somewhat OG would have an idea of what this is, but it's measuring essentially like actual exposure in the market. And so we're coming off of like 92s in January, pretty high exposure. Then we come down to 84. Now we're at, this is a weekly number, 80, spot 61. We tend to bottom out in the low 60s on this metric. So this is the S&P where we are. This is the exposure of actual funds. So it's not a sentiment gauge. It's something that you can reference that would probably be a little bit more reliable than some of those survey metrics, I think it's worth looking at. But if I see low 60s, then that's typically a decent spot.
Okay.
Yeah. So the website, you guys, it's NAAIM.org. National Association of Active Investment Managers.
Would you want the Band-Aid to just be ripped off? And let's
Dude, I so want the Band-Aid just to get ripped off. Cause like, I'm so bored. Like, I'm so done. Like, just stop with the bleeding.
By the way, you know, I shorted my first stock today.
You stop that right now.
I shorted my first ticker today.
Oh my God, we're gonna have to get a divorce.
I made 47 cents on shorting my first, and I'm not gonna lie, bro. I fucking loved it. I loved it so much. I freaking
was it because it was a fundamental thesis that you had behind?
No, it was just like the market was going down. I finally got access to shorting today. I said, screw it, let me learn how to do it. Just like when you buy a stock on Robinhood and then
you just sell,
and then you sell high. I sold short and I bought to close. I made a 10-cent difference on 5 shares. I made 50 freaking cents.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is. Coinbase.
I shorted Coinbase. Yeah,
let's go, dude.
It also sounds cool to be like, yeah, I shorted Coinbase. Like, I just feel cooler saying I shorted.
It was like a villain.
No, but on some like seriously, I think it actually is really important that Robinhood rolled out this tool. Obviously, shorting can be very dangerous. There's a borrowing rate; it can explode. But like, if you're trying to adjust with the market and you're actively trading, and I'm not some massive active trader, but you need to have these tools because if things are going down, you got to be able to make money on the downside.
No, this moment in the market, if we do get some more blood on the streets or whatever you want to call it, this is what trading is about, right? Like right now, we've come off a huge couple weeks, right? And like trading is about like being able to compound gains like exponentially, right? But if I can do that to the downside and take those profits and throw them in my long term, that's what this is about. And if you, as an investor, you learn to trade even just a little bit, it'll help you. It'll tell you when, like you guys watch me, like, okay, I did my ad. I'm not going to continue to keep DCA, and I can read the chart. I know if support's breaking. I will just wait for Amazon to flush me out another $50, and then I'll go in heavier. There's no reason for me to buy at 200, buy at 210, buy at 199, 198, 195, 190 because I think it's done. Like, no, like this right here, right now, this is why I got into trade, because I started as an investor. I started as definitely fundamentals first, like full-blown investor. And, you know, my first bear market, right? Like you guys will know, like things just don't make sense. But even during COVID, I didn't have to sell anything. Like I could have, but I knew how to hedge. We made money on the way down, took those profits, reloaded into the long-term, added, and then made double, triple that on the way up. Like this is what it's about. So I'm not too tied up on like, is this the bottom for the year or anything like that? Like this is just, we're getting an opportunity as traders to be able to really compound gains, either from hedging like or long terms without having to sell, or actually trading the short side and taking those profits and putting them into your long-term accounts. And that right there is the magic formula. To me, that's what this is about. Because as an investor, we're not going to make money every year, every day, every month. That's not how investing works. It's just not. But it can be how trading works.
SoFi, what do you got?
SoFi.
It's ugly, bro. It's so
not getting any better. Make it stop.
It's so, dude, this freaking stock. I really didn't think it was gonna lose 24, 25, and just absolutely.
No, so like SoFi, it's probably too late to hedge an investment, right? Like straight. And also, by the way, this is not the environment to sell puts in. Can I make that? Because we have a lot of people that sell cash secured puts, and this is not the environment to sell puts in. Like it's just not. You're gonna if we lose these lows, you're gonna cry yourself to sleep.
Well, but let me challenge you a little bit on that. SoFi is already down 30%. Selling a $17 put.
Nope.
But if you get SoFi at 17, what, it's gonna go to $10? You're afraid of?
Yep. 14s. So like so like if the market's irrational, it's irrational. So like where it's okay, and I will challenge myself on this. You remember how we sold those cover calls? And the idea selling those cover calls, this is how you have to do it if you're going to do it. And it's okay to do it, but it's not okay to do it for just premium collection right now. If you're selling cover calls, it's because I can manufacture myself a beautiful exit, right? So on SoFi, I'm looking at this at 14 bucks. I would like to be able to buy it again at $14, give or take. So if I sold $17 puts, unless selling that $17 put actually manufactures me a price to get SoFi that's just stupid, has not traded there for years, it might not be worth it yet. I think that's my sentiment. So like if I sold an $18 put, but that $18 put I collected $4 on to do it all day. Yeah. I just don't know that there's anything like that out there right now. But if you're going to do it, you have to do it with that mindset. Like you're basically buying here now, which is selling puts. You're basically buying here now, but you want it to be like, if I do actually get exercised, it's going to give me such a stupid price that like, I'll just sell more. like just give me more. And as an investor, look, if you have over 3-year time horizon, you should be like that anyways.
Yeah, I mean, look, especially for names that have gotten hit so bad, if the premiums are stupid and you get assigned, you should be happy to be assigned. But to your point, you shouldn't be selling puts for premium because that works in a bull market because then you never get assigned. And right now we're still confused if we're necessarily in a bull market. Correct.
I think, and that's the biggest point, right? Like if we see buyers stepping in strength like that, sure. Meaning like if SoFi's over 21, yeah, like we're probably okay. But like until then, you know, I might get 24 to 36 hours of a little bit of a bounce, so I could maybe scalp some premium. But like thinking that I could sell a $17 put and get 50 cents on it and be fine at the end of the day, I just think is not going to work out very well.
Right. Hoodie.
Dude, what the? They better start stepping in soon. There's so much. This is what's upsetting me about Hoodie. It's at my level. It's here. We got a little bit of bounce. I just don't want to get these lows break. I'm not going to sell it. Like no. But Hoodie, my $100 covered leaps here. This is where I'm at. They're not going to do me much favor if this continues to go down anymore. So I'm going to have to start collaring the stock if it does want to come down further. So I don't have to, but that's what it's looking like. And on the way down, I'll nibble at the shares, but that right there is trading. And I think what trading is good for. So like trading can tell me, hey, look, if I lose 70 in strength, well, I probably have another little flusher to go, and I can actually protect my stock right here, right now, maybe even trade to the downside. And with those profits, I'll be buying some more Hoodie. But until then, it's just kind of like waiting here. But there's so much good news, like for Hood, that's just irritating because it's not like there are two, for me, stocks that I don't really trade. I just like constantly buy Robinhood, Rivian, you guys know. This like, dude, ventures, private ventures, that's like basically a new ETF. It's a new product. It's going to be another revenue line. So if they start launching their own ETFs, that's more bullish. Then we have Trump accounts coming in July, right? And I think that Trump account setup is what would really push us into that bigger bounce mid-year. Because that
we have a billion bull cases except the chart.
Yeah. So, and that's what I'm saying. So like the trader's saying, wait, dude, wait, show me some love. The investor's like, hurry up. I'm like, no. So I have the two, the white wolf and the black wolf, like fighting with each other right now. So I think it's a good spot. I think if you have over a 3-year time horizon, it's good. I think it can get lower. How much lower? It not that much, but percentage wise, it's probably a good chunk. It would be in the, so it's 65, which is what everybody's kind of looking at, but realistically, it's down closer to 50 to me on a liquidation event, which is tradable. I don't think in Robinhood you could own a stock and sell it short at the same time. I think you'd have to have a separate account to do that, but you could do that in a separate account. But yeah, I like this spot for a DCA. And if it goes lower, if you show me a high 4 handle on this, cool. In the meantime, there's a fake out bounce spot that's like to 63. I say fake out because I could see this coming in here, doing that, and then doing that. So
what's your downside target is 50 then?
Yeah, we're always going to have a little fair value. 51. So this consolidation, yeah.
But
down
I mean, no one can say it's not possible given the down. The only thing that I think protects against it is it's already down 50% from the highs.
Yeah. And then fundamentally, we have this looming Trump accounts coming in July, right? And so like, to me in my head, I'm like, okay, July could be like the biggest influx of cash to the market that we've seen in an actual generation. Yeah. Like that's very possible. But in between now and then, you know, it's technically in a downtrend and it's fundamentally expensive from a PE perspective.
Well, if we get to the 50s, that PE gets like to 20, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So right now it's like 37, I think, which is not still that crazy. The forward PE, not the current.
It's still high. But I still love it. From an investment.
Can we do Meta?
Meta. So if there was a mega cap that I would actually, so I bought Meta here. We technically have a high, higher low, higher high. And technically Meta is, if you have a long enough time horizon for Meta, it's like 5-10 years. I don't hate DCA Meta on the bloodiest red days because it's a younger company and it has more time to compound. Whereas like Amazon's like 30 years old already. But this, God, are they already selling that bounce? No, not yet. 635 was the level. And I'm telling you, I was watching it today and it's like, you're on my levels. I said low 640s. It goes to 636, sorry. At 636, if it loses that, then we're going to see 600 again. But I don't see that happening. In the meantime, this can be a bounce into 690s. So a trade here is about to begin. I just don't see that bounce after hours as one that's going to make a big difference here yet, but I can see this into the 690s, 680, 688s, but it's sideways. It's consolidating. It was an important level to hold today. Had it gotten uglier, it would have been real quickly back down to the 6s again. And I would have been like, well, shit, do I really need to prepare for adding again?
So, I mean, what, below 600 is where you get excited again? 585 where it was 3 weeks ago?
No, I would, again, so I already added. I'd have to make a meaningful difference. So it'd be in the 5s, closer to 5.
Okay. By the way, Palo Alto down 7%. I guess they said something bad about guidance on the call because that one is dumping today.
Palo Alto is?
Yeah. The cybersecurity names are being treated like traditional SaaS companies, which I think there's a little confusion, but
Palo Alto, I don't. If it's a guidance thing and like they're saying something, so this is gonna be an interesting one to watch for sure. So definitely broken trend. These setups right now on a lot of these stocks like this, below the 20, below the 50, below the 200, which is like a lot of the Mag 7s now, coming into the 200-week SMA. These are Netflix-esque setups where like when Netflix broke down, it was way over here, 115.
yeah, this one right here, Palo Alto Networks trims its annual profit forecast due to rising costs from recent acquisitions, which is not actually a crazy reason, but
it's not.
It's not a demand, basically.
No, they're investing. So that's Palo Alto saying that we're going to go heavier into an investment phase still.
By the way, I got another 13F, folks.
Uh-oh.
Peter Thiel. He sold everything. He sold 65,000 shares of Tesla, sold 50,000 shares of Microsoft, sold 80,000 shares of Apple. He's out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I did not even open the investing account today. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm not looking.
He sold all of his NVIDIA last quarter, Q3, and apparently Q4 he's completely out. Unless he bought in the past 45 days, he's out of the markets completely.
Who?
Peter Thiel.
Okay, but he's the same guy that crashed Silicon Valley Bank.
I don't know if he crashed Silicon Valley
He
Bank.
did, dude.
I think the Fed crashed Silicon Valley.
No. He wrote the letter to all his buddies.
Okay, maybe he probably told his buddies to get the hell out of the bed. Yeah, I mean
that's what he did.
The point is, I mean, he was pretty bearish last quarter. He's bearish once again, selling.
Yeah.
However, this year he hasn't sold any Palantir stock this year. Let me check.
Fucker. Yes, they did.
No, he hasn't sold any. So we haven't had any sales of Palantir this year from him, but he did sell. Out of, it's called Thiel Macro is the fund that manages all that stuff.
So can we do a different chart? So last week we talked about Google, and so this is what I'm saying. Like, if I see something kind of changing, I'm posted on my timeline. So I'm not posting a whole lot, other than like if it's something cool. Oh, did you guys get your? I was gonna give Amit one of these new T-shirts. This swag, this patience. I made it like just for him. It's a money tree. You can't see it, and it says the word patience, like PAY. Shins. It's a money tree bonsai. This is what I do on the days when the market's selling off or closed, rather. How come I can't zoom out? Get out of this. But I updated Google just because I know I talked about it last week. So I said 295 is the bottom of the range from right here. And I also said until proven otherwise. So I would expect it to hold. So 295 hit right here. Typically, I would say until proven otherwise. What I need to see to prove that that's still the range here, because we're kind of looking not great, is we need to get back over, like in short order, like 307s actually, and ultimately this 310. So if Google can bounce in strength up over, then I think we're okay for a little bit. But if this loses this level, this is the last of the Mag 7 Mohicans, I think is what we called it last time, that is now starting to look kind of heavy. And on this one, it's close to the 250, which would be a pretty basic pullback, but a nice pullback on this guy. So I'd like this one if we get a pullback here.
To what, 250 for Google?
Yeah, in that general range. I think it's a spot to nibble at. So what that is, I'll just delete this. It's essentially if I take this low again, let me just remeasure it from here. 245 is the 200-day simple moving average. So in this box, this is not an ad spot, but if it breaks down, I would get interested in it. I'd start looking at it. I would, if I owned it, I would start, if it loses this, that's the second boom. Okay, I know I need to hedge. I would be hedging into like the 280s. And then I would be making profit on the way down. And then I would be taking those hedges off in this area, and I would be adding to my longs right over here. And I'd be looking for this. So this is trading in a nutshell on an investment. It says no more DCAing right now. Chill. Let's see if this can hold. And if it doesn't, all good. I know what to do. I can collar a stock. I could do whatever. And then I would take that collar off and use those profits somewhere in here to reload the boat. So that's what I'm looking at across the board for things that I own that haven't really broke down in general.
Okay, can we do AMD?
Well, somebody in the server today asked about AMD. I'm like, so AMD lost that low. I bought this for a trade. I actually made money on the little counter trend bounce, but 208, well, 227 was the big deal, right? Had to get over 227. That's the 2024 high. We're not. So that last bounce was low, like lower high. We'd broken the lows. It can chop around here. Like, I don't think it's anything crazy. Like this 187 was that first area that I was like, oh, that would be a good spot to buy. But the market is just super finicky right now. So it's a good spot for a momentum bounce. And we did get a momentum bounce. At this point, I need to see a lot more love out of AMD. So I think last week we said it needed to be holding 208. It opened below 208 today. And so because of that, no, like I would not want to be long AMD here from a trading perspective, like a swing trading perspective. And we're probably, if we lose this level, it's looking more like in the one. Let's go ahead and measure this. Since we have new trades kind of starting to form, if we start breaking down, then we'll have new trades coming. Maybe it takes a while to get there. So investor me might be interested in the 150s again. But I think that you lose the 190, we should see 171 very quickly, 171 and a half. Since this already hit, but it locked a lower high, that's the problem. And if this breaks that low, breaking that low should take us to 171 and a half. And that is going to fill a news gap that still exists that's been in existence for a while. Whoa.
So so this 170 you're looking at here.
Yeah, for like a tradable downside range if you lose 190s. But until then, like if it doesn't lose 190s, then I'm not trading for that. But and the best case is that you hope that it slops around in this chop zone. But it needed to be over 209. It's not 209. So right now it's kind of like no touch zone. Watch. But if it loses the 190, yeah, okay. We got a trade on our hands that you can make $20 downside in short order. Do what you will with that profit. Maybe throw it into some long-term stuff. Maybe not. Maybe wait for a little bit longer. But below 170, 150, then we're into 145s. That's all she wrote on AMD from a downside perspective. She's not going to 300s unless we're over 227.
Do you like MRVL here too, or is it kind of in the same bottoming?
So MRVL is always like, it's another longer term one. I'll nibble at this below 80. It's still below 80, but I've already nibbled at it. So I'm not going to nibble at this again. It's just more like, all right, we are not going up. This one I like, but I'm very open to being completely wrong. And if I'm completely wrong, it's not that big of a deal to me because downside is 65s, worst case. But yeah, that's the downside on this. Upside, it can bounce, but it needs to get over 87 to really get me excited again. Because it sure tried, dude. It did. It, you know, a good old college try up here, but then here we are, like holding trend, but you get this low. This is price discovery mode now on MRVL is what this is. So I can see it breach the lows only to do something like that mid-year. I could easily see that. And like this could happen in the end of the month. And then this could be July very easily.
Yeah.
So right here, it's not a level of interest for any sort. For me, it's like when we're like, all right, well, let's see. You know, I already nibbled this. If I'm going to do it again, I'm going to get a bigger discount. The trader's going to tell me, hey, in mid 60s would be a better spot. Otherwise, just hold tight and sit on my hands for a bit, which is kind of what I've been saying for the last week or so.
Okay, let's get into the rapid fire. 2 minutes 30. Jason, you need a little break? I can go through some headlines.
No, I think I'm getting bummed, dude. I'm trying to. Is there a bullish chart out there? No. That's too extended.
Well,
give me a bullish chart. It's not the dollar or the VIX. Okay.
The value names, I agree with you, are extended, and I wonder how long the market will keep paying for these.
I literally wrote about this the other day. Like I wrote about this. My biggest. Do you see my meme?
I like this one.
Will you beat my exit liquidity?
Yeah.
Like, but this is what I mean. Just so you guys know, you like it. Look at this beautiful eyes. There,
the guy who is gonna short everything and make money.
Don't you dare. Here's my IVM bear case. I think it was. I don't remember what it was, but it's about RSP where I wrote, or like that RSP chart, because my biggest concern is that value is a little bit extended. Yeah. So RSP, right? Broadening narrative has been the saving grace, right? But if the problem is that like even value is a little bit hot right now. This is Pepsi, dude.
Okay, so let's get into rapid fire, and I'll give you some names in the midst of this. So 2:30 on the clock. Let's start off with NBIS, and we're gonna run through as many.
NBIS. So holding pattern. It held 108 is the top of the range, the top of the box. So I could see this potentially bouncing. Thankfully, it didn't break down. I still didn't text this guy. My text level is still 58, not happening yet. But same story as before. Not really, not thinking that I would change the sentiment on this one just yet. I can't. How come I can't? I need to edit the timer. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Got it. So wait on NBIS. It's holding. It's okay. I think this can get to 108, but that's all I can see in the chart right now. Next.
CRWV.
Interesting one. Also a hold. It's a hold. I don't want to see this below 82. Below 82, then that goes in the bucket with all the rest of the stuff. Yeah, a bounce could be to 108, 50, still not be out of the box. This is still a downtrend, still a series of lower highs and lower lows right now, but it's a very wide range. Not selling off. This looks like the sellers are kind of over it, like they're walking away for a little bit. Next.
Microsoft.
Oh God, don't do it.
It cannot find any room above 400.
Just don't do it. God, that looks heavy. That's like live. Short, sell. If I'm a trader, I would lean short here. It could be a quick short. 370s. 370s. I have big support in I don't think that gets to 330. That would be dumb. Could you imagine? But no, this is giving it all back. All back.
If it gives it, dude, 330 is like 2023 levels. I mean,
yeah, no, this is giving it all back into the 370s still. That was my level, remains my level. Below 415, down to 370s. Just a general area, right? It's this support, first level support right in here. I mean, if it was a normal stock, I'd say like 325. But Microsoft is not a normal stock, and it doesn't usually give you this deep. But I mean, if it did, fine, I'll pick it up. But it's this 375 area.
ServiceNow.
Well, it lost 120.
You saw the headline on this today, right?
No.
CEO is buying 3 million worth of shares. It pumped for literally 10 seconds and then it just
Dude, what's happening?
It was so stupid, bro.
Dude, just make it stop.
We all thought AI was going to usher in this golden age, and instead it's just wiping out everything. Like jobs are next, then the humans are next, and then it's just robots running the planet.
The humans are next.
That's it. It's over. Oh, by the way, for real quick before Jason does this, the other headline on Meta today that was crazy. Meta is patenting a technology that will allow them to keep people alive on Facebook even after they die. And the AI is gonna like analyze all the previous content that the person posted and continue to post as if they were alive.
Don't do it. As close to 80 as you can on ServiceNow. Stop buying.
This AI shit is getting out of hand. Okay, ServiceNow. Let's do the other one I was looking at was Oscar. What are you looking at for Oscar?
It's at the level.
Everything's at the level.
It actually went deeper, dude. How are we on ACA? So if you're going to be in something like Oscar, you got to be very close to very, very close to the hearings that are happening on Capitol Hill. And it's going to trade around ACA subsidy stuff. So here now, this is the spot. It's the spot. It's always been the spot. It remains the spot. The deeps got into the 11s, but she ain't out of the weeds yet. Boys and girls, she ain't out of the weeds yet. I can see it bounce into the 17s even. But that's the range. It's now a downtrend.
HIMS.
Do they have $0 puts? What happened? Can you do that?
That's disrespectful. That everyone who's a HIMS shareholder needs to spam L for that.
No, everyone who's a HIMS shareholder should say, okay, cool. Because last time I spoke about HIMS, your boy said it was a low teen stock. And that was in like the 2030s before the headline. So anyways.
I am just, not every stock you're going to be able to get the hell out of. This one I got the hell out of. And I got my uncle the hell out of it at 58 before this thing just got annihilated.
Connie saved me right there.
I am, and he's right.
So this is downside target acquired also. I mean, HIMS has got earnings coming right around the corner. There's just too much legal shenanigans to say anything one way or the other here. Typically, we would see a counter trend like a pre-earnings bounce here, but it is not.
Well, that's the thing. You would think HIMS is getting close to a bottom, and even
where are the bulls?
Yeah, it's ugly, dude.
I'm so used to saying the weak bears.
And for someone it's HIMS, for someone else it's Hood, for someone it's BM&R, for someone else it's Rocket Lab. Like everyone has one of those names that's just getting annihilated. And even if you bought below where it is, I mean, there's a lot of HIMS people that loaded up below 10 because it was stuck there for a couple of years. But you saw it go from 70 to 16 now,
Yeah. I mean, the issue here with Rocket Lab, with HIMS, I don't think that if you're a shareholder here, you're really that worried unless you're like crazy over leveraged. There's such high beta names that like in a larger portfolio, they can't have that big of a percentage weighting. Not you typically wouldn't have, I can't say you can't, but they typically wouldn't have that big of a percentage weighting because you have to adjust for that volatility. So this is probably fine. But if you buy this here on HIMS, quite frankly, you just got to know it's either going to work out or it's going to zero. It's one of those where, like, at this point, at this level, if you like it or you like the idea of it, you buy it, stick 100 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever, in a drawer, check on it in 3 to 5 years.
AAPL.
I'm so tired of saying the same thing over and over. Dude. So this has to get over 3. It has to get back over 400. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, that's deep, dude. That's 230 on it.
Dude, but AAPL is down from 750. Like, at some point, right? At some point, or does every stock?
It's at the spot, right? Everything's at the spot. Like, it could go. So, like, okay, let's legit. So if I take this consolidation range here, see that the point of control, or where most of the volume is on AAPL, is 340. Like, it's getting to 340. The question in my mind is that it? Like, is that going to be the low? And I won't know until we get there. So I could see a little bit more on AAPL, but trading, I have to wait till it gets there to figure out the next move. If this is below 340, if you're jumping in this year, you're front running, and that's anticipating. That's not what we do as traders. So it's a slow, like, the short's pretty much juiced here because it's like, I don't know, 350. So we're talking about $10. That would be my level. But again, once it gets to my level, it doesn't mean I'm just going to buy. I need to see them step in more assertively. And if it doesn't, then it is 230.
Reddit.
Last time I said it could bounce a little bit, but it looked ugly. I said 137s ish.
It kind of bounced around there for a little bit, right?
Is it 143 today? So I was wrong. See, I'm wrong a lot. So
Dude,
Reddit.
I really like Reddit, but in this high beta growth sell-off, I don't know how anyone could justify buying it.
The thing about these things, dude, my hoodie, SoFi, Reddit, the reason I'm watching IGV is because if we do get the bounce, man, it could be, this is totally speculative, it could be so rip your face off bouncy.
Yeah.
That like, it's just like, yo. And so to me, I'm like, I'm going to know. We're going to know if it's ready to roll. Like, if these things are ready to roll, we're not going to be talking about 2% days. Like, we're going to be talking 5, 7, 10% days.
Yep.
And you're just going to know. And you're not going to be early on that first, 7% day. You're going to be probably right on time, quite frankly. So, again, I wouldn't be in a rush. This looks ugly. 118s, 113s is the next level. It was $10 away from that. I don't know. This is a more interesting spot for sure. 110. I mean, we're not seeing below that, are we? Like, if this doesn't hold, then we are seeing below that. But 115 is where she's got to be. 115, we should see it. Hopefully go sideways for a little bit. Call me when you get there.
Tesla.
415, it's below. Yep. still short those 400 calls, thankfully. But
you did a good job hedging with those. That was great.
I still think, yeah, but then nobody cares about that. Right?
No, but hold on. We did talk about it on this show, and those are
We did.
ideas that people might like. It's important to discuss. Like, look, it looked bearish, it looked toppy, and you had a
No,
great.
it actually looked bullish. It was like right over here, dude. It was not bearish. Like it was like it
No,
could
but
go.
that was the double top from
Uh-huh.
2024.
Uh-huh.
Also, the valuation for the earnings.
No, it was mostly just you in my ear yelling, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna call the top here," and I'm like, "All right, no." But yeah, it was slowing. It was slowing, is what it was. I was really close to my targets. I was just kind of toying. Do I really want to squeeze the last couple pennies on here and potentially risk like the whole trade? And that's where it is. And so instead, I manufactured the exit. Anyways, it remains the same. This is not. This is a slow bounce. That bounce to 430, lower high. We're seeing lower highs. The last low is 387. So to me, my sentiment was the same before. I could kind of see 350s here. I do not like it at the moment. I would rather really.
So 350 is the target.
Huh? Yeah, in this general range, I think it's more like 330s. But we would be, this is the planning stage. This is like a planning session, you and me right now. This is like we're planning. Do we hedge? What do we hedge? And where are the buy zones going to be? So the buy zones would be,
Well, I don't have enough Tesla to hedge, but the buy zones are very attractive to me because.
Yeah, it's 350 right in here and just as close to 300 as you can. But you might not get all the way down there, but if you like it, it's as close to 350 once, and then a little bit bigger if you see it closer to 300. And that's it.
300 on Tesla would be a hell of a draw. That
it wouldn't be, dude. It would be normal.
It would be normal, but it means the market would be falling with it, right? Unless Tesla does something really bad.
These are the three spots. So it's here, here, and there. And so, like, if you're planning to DCA this year, there it is, right? You're already long. You have 3 discount spots I'm outlining for you. This is what trading's about if you're an investor, right? That's it. It's here, here, and all the way down to 250. If that actually gets there, which is crazy, I know, to say that today, but you just really don't know.
Okay, let's do Netflix next, but let's take a 3-minute break and listen to the CEO talk about this Paramount deal.
I'm watching Netflix 75s. Are we doing? Oh, you're doing.
Yeah, let's watch this real quick, and then we'll do TA on this.
Why does it make sense to give your competitor, Paramount Skydance, a week to negotiate with Warner Brothers if you already have a deal with them?
Well, best if we start with where we're at, which is we have the only signed deal with Warner Brothers to acquire Warner Brothers Studios and Warner Brothers Television Studios and HBO. That is a signed deal that we have. P-Sky, Paramount had been making a ton of noise, flooding the zone with confusion for shareholders, so they don't really understand the deal, and including floating all these hypothetical offers into and talking directly to the shareholders and bypassing the Warner Brothers Discovery Board. So we gave them the opportunity to get those shareholders exactly what they deserve, which is complete clarity and certainty about what the value of these deals are. And what we're certain is that the Netflix deal to acquire these assets is the best deal, generates the best value for their shareholders. And they think so too. That's why they recommended the deal and why they reiterated recommending that deal post this. So give them 7 days to put their money where their mouth is.
So part of all the disclosures and press releases and proxies filed this morning was also the news that a representative of Paramount Skydance had offered $31 per share, $1 more than Paramount Skydance had previously offered for all of Warner Brothers. You have the right to match any higher bid. How much more are you willing to pay?
Well, that's not something you typically do with a phone call. And I don't want to get into the hypotheticals, what we do, of all these moves. Let them make a move, and then we'll see where the next step takes us.
Given that Netflix's stock price has dropped so much since you closed this deal in December, Mike just mentioned a 25% drop. Are you concerned that investors will sell off more if you end up offering more to get this deal done?
there's things you should remember about us. We've been doing this for a long time. We have been incredibly disciplined buyers in our normal course of business, meaning we're pretty good at establishing what is the value for entertainment assets, audience relative to cost, all of those things, and remaining very disciplined in the process of doing that. So it shouldn't be any different than that. But again, that's what I said, when we came up with the offer on this asset, this is a deal we think that brings an enormous value to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. But even as importantly, is continuing to grow the entertainment business. The outcome of this deal is going to be very relevant to a lot of players. Meaning that if in our deal we continue to operate Warner Brothers film and television studios pretty much like they're running today, we continue to run HBO largely as it operates today. We continue to invest in growth in those organizations. We have a very healthy balance sheet and a very strong business with or without this deal to keep pushing forward at this. So to me, our goal here is to make sure that folks know, take the 7 days to figure out exactly where they stand. And then on March 20th, there is a vote and they'll make the decision. And we're confident that the Warner Brothers Discovery Board, which continues to endorse this deal, and the shareholders will come to the same conclusion that this is the best value for Warner Brothers Discovery.
All right. What are you thinking of the chart, Jason?
Oh, I mean, I think if you're an investor and you like the company, you take your shot, first shot. If you see it, so investment, that's 3 years plus, right? Then if you see it close to 60, you take another one, and that is it. That is it. I was just looking at, someone mentioned MACD divergence. I actually like MACD divergence. And I was just looking at it on the weekly. I'm like, dude, did you know that Netflix is as oversold now on that setup as it was at $17 in 2022?
You're saying the drawdown has been as bad as 22 on a technical level?
No, from an oscillator perspective, from a momentum perspective.
Wow.
That hit fast.
All right. So are you buying or no?
I mean, so there were two stocks I was thinking about trading to the long side. One was Apple today, and the other was Netflix. Because like I said, it's at my spot. And this one, I think I would rather here now than a lot of others. Regardless of the news, that's just what I'm saying. Did they say they're pulling out?
No, they said they're going to let Warner Brothers negotiate for a week, and if they want to, then Netflix is going to have to renege, or they get a $3 billion breakup fee.
They said, wait, say that this is their best and final, like done?
No, they said they're going to let Warner Brothers negotiate for a week because they have to, and then after the week they'll see what happens. But again, if Warner Brothers says, all right, we're going with Paramount, Netflix gets a $3 billion breakup fee, and the street is probably happy because they don't have to spend freaking $90 billion on.
So as long as they don't come back to the negotiating table, this is probably done. If they come back in a week, wait for 60.
Yeah. Well, because Netflix probably thinks they need more content for the next 5 years of growth, because obviously subscribers are getting tapped out. It's a business.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's not that they think, it's that they do, because they think that they can't scale spending the amount that they've been spending on organic homegrown content, right? Yeah. That's the issue, and they're probably not wrong. But do I like this spot? I don't even know if it's like a. Could you trade this? I'm out of time, but are we doing a $10,000 account challenge, Amit? Let's do something like that.
On Netflix or just in general?
Just in general, and then I'll get one trade out.
I'm gonna follow all your trades.
I'll update it on your Substack. And we'll go January 21st, 2028, $100 calls.
What, $100 calls?
Yeah, 2028.
I actually don't hate that as a concept, to be honest.
Yeah. 47 delta. 3,200 volume today, 5,000 open interest. That's active as heck. PG-13. Heck. Probably the most active option on the chain. 300,000 calls to 140,000 puts.
Wow.
That's the trade. Boom. Single trader order for 3,000 in one order. One person bought 3,000 of these January 21st, 2028 calls for $11.08. There you have it. Now you know what they may have bought or sold them for. Execution seems to be in between, so we don't know if they actually bought or sold them.
All right, let's run through a lot more of these tickers, and then we'll get to the important stuff, which is
I saw someone ask about GLW. I've been talking about this one. I like it, but it's hot. It's heavy. I think you could. I was waiting for this 116 pullback, so I think this is weight. This is very heavy. Little head and shoulders-y. It's not like broken down. So like below 125, I think that actually breaks. So right now it could be a failed head and shoulders because it's not actually happening. Right now it's just setting up for that. So like a failed head and shoulders, super bullish, looks like that. So I want to watch this around 127. And then if it loses that, then cool. I'll actually come in probably around 116. So I actually like this from a broader perspective. Okay, what was the other one? Sorry.
GLD, gold. Can we look at that?
The gold. Well, you can't do these without doing the dollar first. So today the dollar, so sorry to but had a nice little spike up to 97. Zoom out, look left. That actually is prior support. So if the dollar is over this 97, I don't really want the debasement trade that much because then we're going to get into a zone where it will probably have more pullbacks than not. But really, ew. This does not look that great either. So we got a bounce, but I think that's a bearish bounce. Yeah, so that right there, this is a bearish retracement right into 470 right there. Not what I'd want to see. I would have wanted to see gold hold into this area and then go that way. So for that reason, no, 420s and then little hack on golds is the gold. Ooh, the gold volatility index. Not saying it's going to go down yet. This actually says that they're building positions. So maybe look at this. This is the volatility of gold. GVZ. So gold volatility index says that they're building positions. Interesting. I think you watch it, but it would have to get over that 470. So until then, I think this should have failed. This is your lower area here. I don't know that it doesn't. If that doesn't break down tomorrow, then we do get a bounce into that 470. But otherwise, tomorrow's a setup day. No trade here, but those are the two areas that would be better for trade locations. Sorry.
I imagine you think the same about silver.
So yeah, I would be. This is the pullback here. I didn't sell any. Probably missed it. Who knows? But it'd be interesting. Do we have any announcements coming from Warsh or any of those people anytime soon?
I think in like a month he has to go through the Senate confirmation, but it's going to be a while till we hear him talk.
Yeah. I can see some bounces, but if this is if silver's over 73, yeah, I like it again up to 90s, but not until then. This for now. Is actually a pretty weak bounce. These bounces were super weak. I know high percentages, but from a trend perspective, they're pretty weak, and it looks like it's on the verge of falling, but holding right now. Yeah. Also holds no trade. But if it's over 68, we get to 73. If it's over 73, then trade into 85s.
Salesforce.
Every day I check on this stupid stock. it's just screaming 150 at me. So this is from 2023. I think when you lost at 211, that was just like, all right, this is not going to be fun. We have earnings coming February 25th. I just don't think anybody's going to be jumping in front of this at the end of the month.
I don't think there's any desire to like have to buy the dip on Salesforce.
No. 150 comes from here, right?
Yeah.
So if this is the low, 126, that's the low before the low.
Yep.
If you go to a weekly chart, there's your breakdown. I'm pretty sure this is actually a doubling of that, somewhere in there. It's probably not even double, it's like 50% of. Let's see what that would actually be. Oops. Yeah, so right in that general area. But yeah, that's what the chart says. I mean, this is cheap, but it's a question of this is why, to me, I'm like IBM downside, because like what they're doing to CRM, what they're doing to Adobe, it's like, feel like they should be doing that to IBM, because that's a lot of software. It's not like their revenue is, IBM is like 45% software revenue, and the software is like renewals and things like that to super legacy companies, and that's holding its value, as in like as if IBM's cash flow is more dependable than CRM's. I don't know, seems crazy to me. But look at what they're doing with Amazon too, as if Walmart's cash flow is more dependable than Amazon's. Who knows? It's just not making a lot of sense here.
Let's get into some of these value stocks, because again, a couple of weeks ago, you highlighted that these are where the rotation is going, which the rotation has happened. But now
they're high.
Now is the bubble in value at this point?
No, yes. And that is the crux of the real issue, because because nowadays money rotates so fast, right? Like so fast. How's that sweater tasting? Is that a good flavor? I don't know. But the money rotates so quickly. It's like you're there today, gone tomorrow. And you're like, what happened? It's just how it is. And so J&J, like huge move, all these things. Now they're overheated, and we could see some pullbacks. And look at Walmart's down how much today? 3.7%.
Yeah, they got hit today. Yeah.
That's a lot for Walmart. Did any Walton sell?
Well, I think once NVIDIA started going up, Walmart started going down. At least that's what I saw.
Possibly, yeah. So the rotation happens real fast. And I think that's the point. But if the rotation if it comes out of value and doesn't go into tech, that's the biggest issue. If it comes out of value and goes straight into cash, then we have bigger problems if it doesn't go into growth. But yeah, this is a little hot. It's not broken structure. The structure is intact. So the channel, this is actually a fairly new channel. Let's do this. So this could be into 125s. You can actually grab that wick. It might be able to go all the way as low as 120, but then it's got to bounce pretty heavily. So it's a hold for now. It's a very near-term level. No, these guys have earnings to like this week. So I think it's run up a lot. What I'm seeing on Walmart then, based on earnings coming in, is that probably a little bit of profit taking before the actual earnings print hits. And if that, does Walmart report on the 19th, Thursday? Then we'll see.
What do you think about Verizon being up 20% this year?
Is it
like do you think that holds? Do you think that holds that chart? Or
I mean,
it hasn't had a year like this since 2006.
And it's only February.
It's only February, correct. I mean, this shit's getting kind of crazy, bro. Like, I really find it hard to believe Verizon is going to be up this much by the end of the year and NVIDIA is going to be flat.
So you're short. This is your number one short target or what?
Honestly, now
You
that
go
I have
long.
the shorting feature, I mean, no, I wouldn't short it just because I don't think it deserves to be there. But it is confusing why the street is
Well,
not paying for growth.
I'll tell you what, from the 2019 highs or all-time highs, if you will, to the 2023 lows, this is the bearish retracement. As in like $50 is a wrap. So if it gets over, what is that? 51 and holds, this is like Intel holding 38 or whatever it is,
Right.
or 40, 42, I think. Then yeah, we can see 60. And then we can start talking about being like uber bulls. But from here, I think you can actually and probably should expect to pull back into the 46s. And if a 46 pullback holds, that's actually important. So you would see something like that. So here now, no. But if it comes back down to 46, interesting. Can I trade that? I don't know, because Verizon doesn't tend to have, Jesus, I forgot to put the play, doesn't tend to have like really volatile options. They tend to be pretty thick at the center. I mean, I'm sorry, like thick is it's far out of the money calls on Verizon don't, or puts options, they don't accelerate value until you get close to 50. It's like all the meat is right around 50 at the money.
Can we look at grab?
Grabby grab. I mean, she's there. I like this better, but
It broke 380 on the earnings release and then it bounced. I don't know if that has any relevance.
yeah, I mean, so the problem here is that it hit 450 and rejected. It held 4, but I think it's going to stay in this box, dude, for a minute. You don't want it losing this box, but every time it gets to 450s now, I would be more cautious until it can get like well over 460. So like, meaning like you can see these bounces into 450s, but I would still expect them to kind of get sold into. And as long as those, see, like this is like a week or 3 weeks worth of holding. I think you at $4 even, we probably saw the February lows, and then a bounce could take me to still 5. But do we extend much further than 5? I don't know.
Okay.
Not near term.
Adobe.
I thought somebody was going to give me a bullish stock. We're really trying here.
Guys, put in the chat if there's any bullish stocks that.
Like I'm so jonesing for a bullish stock. I hope that means that we're at the lows. You know, the other thing, yeah, Adobe's at the level. It's at the level, but it's been at the level for 1, 2, 3, 4 days now.
Yeah. Oh, eToro. They had a great earnings today.
Really? If this 260-ish area doesn't hold on Adobe, then it's close to 2s is the wick out. And a quick counter trend bounce could be like a face ripper into like 290s here in like a couple days, within a week. I don't even know eToro's. I guess. Oh, it did. Why?
It was a good quarter.
That? Oh, great. Sell.
Okay.
I think you see 35. That's right into resistance. So you get this big rally. It's right into resistance. You got to see more. It's nice for a trade, but you want to see more. It's a nice bounce. Was that a carry through, follow through? No, that's today. So today, lock the high in here, 33 and a half, and 33 and change. If it's going higher than that, cool. We can get a little bit of a move and maybe into the 43s, but if it can't, you get one solid shot to break the highs. That's how we're gonna roll with this guy. All right, next.
Elf. Is that kind of bullish?
Lipstick stock. It's neutral, but it's not bearish here. They're buying this. It's getting defensive, but that's a funky one. This is 75 was a big deal. No pickle. And then next resistance is 90s up to 95, 90, 95. So it's got to get through that. It's okay. Check on the other lipstick. My Ulta. Hey, there she is, baby. I found it. My Ulta. This is one of my picks for the year, dude. Actually, is Ulta Beauty. New 52-week high today. Look at this thing of beauty. You're not looking.
Sorry, dude, I had to respond to a text message. Sorry.
Okay, but it's a beautiful stock. Here she is.
But you're not buying the makeup stocks.
I bought the makeup. It's an annual pick. It's one of my annual picks.
You're trading it, or you're.
No, I'm holding it the whole year. Like, I think it's going 1,000, over 1,000.
Okay.
Ulti.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
What about Nike? Does that look bullish?
No. It's not. Wait a second. It's getting out. It's trying. We can watch Nike again. I mean, it hit the level. This is definitively not a V recovery. It's in a downtrend. It's at the top of the downtrend. I can see this at 67, but that's going to be okay. If we're trending over 67, all right, we might be cooking with some gas because it's getting really tight here.
End phase?
I don't hate that at all. End phase. Oh, energy.
End phase made a move, but
it did make a move. Actually, it's a good day today. I was not expecting to see my Ulta at all-time highs today. That was wild.
Well, I didn't expect Elf to pump. I don't know what the headline was either for those makeup names to pump.
Well, it was that Ulta is the Ulta mint stock for the year. But 43.
This one got rejected at 51 last week.
Yeah. And I think that's about half of the earnings move back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bingo. So from there to here, that's how I got that. As long as it can hold 43.85, I think this can take one more shot because you already took a shot. If it's below this, cool, we're going to 40s. If you get below 41, then you give it all back into 35. So you cannot be long this below 41. But from here to here, typically we see that 45-day holding pattern, and that 45-day holding pattern is usually within this range. So I could see this taking another shot at 52, but failing back into this range. And this, it would be typical. That would be very typical of an earnings move of this caliber right here. Actually, I would say you can bet on that.
I am rubbing off on you. That was a mid-ass joke right there. Ultimate stock. That was
it was really bad. It was
it was really good.
It was real bad, guys. It was real bad.
Intuit, do you like that?
Oh yeah, for our shorts, dude. I'm all day. I bought these Intuit $400 puts the other day, for like $80, and they went like berserk. Yeah, no, I think this is ground zero. So no, you want to get out the way. Get out the way. Sometimes ground zero trades, meaning like the ones that are in like the heartbeat of what's going down, software potentially be replaced with AI, end up being the easiest trades to just continue. So no, I don't like this. Don't go bottom fishing here. Let earnings come and then let the story change fundamentally. Don't front run this. You're not going to miss anything. If it's ready to roll, it's good. And you'll know very quickly. But between now and then, I just don't see anybody like jumping into this. I mean, 377 was and is downside targets, but yeah, I don't jump in front of this bad boy.
Energy
No.
fuels.
This is like what's the Moody's? Just checking.
And Moody's got hit last week with SP.
Earning. So Moody's earning tomorrow. Maybe watch. That will probably affect. I know it doesn't sound right, but like into it. FICO. What's
SPGI. That's another one.
Yeah, like so this one already reported, so it's probably not good news for these guys. These are again like at the heart of the issue right now. What was the other one? Sorry.
Energy fuels. You.
Is it a little debasement? Held the 50. It's not bad. It's tradable, bounced into the 22s, but it's like 10%.
And then can we look at DNN, which is similar to this one?
I've never heard of that.
It's Denjin Mines Corp, similar to.
Uranium miner?
I think so. But it probably would be following the same path.
So 430 is that prior high. That's steep. You got to get through 465. Oh, this is like you can play with this one. Super high beta, extremely high beta. I think Devon reports tonight, right? Or is it tomorrow? Devon Energy. Oh, did we get the report? Yeah, I got it.
No, Devon. Oh, yeah, we did get it today. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one's like, I kind of like, don't hate this. Oxy. I like Chevron. Chevron had a dividend today, so pulled back a little bit. This is one like it could quickly reclaim this trend post dividend. This actually fairly bullish, but Oxy is one too. Where like these guys were getting hit early. We should look at VG.
Yeah, let's do that too.
Because if we lock a higher low, that's going to be more bullish. Now Oxy above 20, 250 day SMAs. We're going to get our golden cross in a little bit, assuming that earnings comes out decent. So just heavy watch on Oxy. Could be like, I mean, that's already hit the levels, right? Is that a generational buy? I don't know. I'm definitely beating Buffett on that. Sorry. Yeah, so this, I was gonna look for dippers and eights. I think we covered this pretty much fairly in depth. So I think like in the sub 8 level, you'd be looking for another trade like that. And that would be your kind of bull case. Run it up. But I don't really follow VG fundamentally, so I know there's a lot of legal issues here. I can't really speak too well towards it. It's more of a question.
Where's VG? It loses 9, but yeah, I mean, look, energy demand is still going to be massive. Natural gas prices is something that has affected the stock dramatically over the past couple of months. But I feel like if the market's going down or the market's going up, VG gets caught up in the bucket. Now, winning the arbitration case was good last month, but
yeah, I think that's big headwinds, right? Like this could be, you want to see this hold that low 8s or high 7s rather, and lock a higher low from here. It's still a lower high. So there's this like the downtrend is still intact, but barely. So meaning like if I get this, I think that gets out of the downtrend. And so this is a spot where I would actually start looking for higher lows. Because I, not to get too far out of my box, is like I think energy is super important, right? Like I have GEV still nearly 52-week highs, right? I think this is a very real thing, but more like this or like a Quanta 52-week high, all-time highs. Like so, these are bigger stocks. The VG is more speculative. And this is more like grid power. So, I mean, it's, what's the other one? Manpower. Oh, that's not good. This is not right. Am I looking at the right one? No, Monolithic Power. What's the ticker of Monolithic Power?
SPW? Well, that's
Is it?
No, that's quant. Monolithic Power is
That's Sportsman Warehouse.
MPWR.
MPWR. There it is, right? So
No.
not small stocks, but real companies, right? Solid. Eaton, I talked about this a while ago. Actually, at the highs of this, Eaton, real energy, legit goes in data center stuff. I think this could be a slow sleeper. Also on this stock.
Aero Environment, AVAV.
AVAV.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a drone stock?
Yeah.
Yes. This is a real drone stock, though, is it not?
Yes.
Not an idea. They have contracts.
Correct.
I haven't looked at my Kratos. This is also at the level. Okay. Okay, Space Mob. What are we doing? All right.
Buyers got to step in.
You're getting some better picks, guys. I like this. I'm not. Okay. So AVAV, super high beta, extremely volatile. It had a chance to break this 238. If it had broken it in strength, it would have been real bad. But it didn't. So weak bears here. We can get a bounce. If this can get over, it's got a ways to go. Or at least hold this area. Cool. If not, yeah, down she goes. But this is definitely an interesting watchable KTOS. We need to look at in this sector. Kratos.
All the drone stocks look the same, though.
Yeah, this looks like AVAV.
Yeah.
But AVAV got down lower. Kratos didn't have. I actually bought Kratos not that long ago at like 75. I haven't really looked at it other than to know it was up a lot at one point. Maybe it comes all the way back down. I don't know. This looks a little heavy, but earnings coming soon. I own Kratos. We'll see.
Lily. This one's doing well this year, I think.
Lily looks like it's about to have
It's like down 4%.
An existential moment here where it's like out of body as an out of trend. Like this looks like this is gonna go crazy real soon.
Yeah.
830s. This is very distributionary, they say. So markup.
NVIDIA pump faded after hours. Did it? NVIDIA, yeah, pretty much faded.
I believe it.
Dude, nothing is lasting.
Hey,
it would not surprise me if NVIDIA tanks on earnings. It wouldn't.
Ulta, baby. Did you see that chart? Ultimate chart. What are we going to do when Ulta outperforms? This is an all-time high.
But
you know why?
This is why? Please tell me why.
Dude, technically or fundamentally?
Fundamentally, I don't give a shit about it. Like why is the makeup stock going up?
The funniest bull case story would be Ozempic. We're getting skinny.
There's no way you're gonna.
And we're going outside.
No, that's not.
You don't like it?
I don't hate it's just a little stretch of an argument.
I added.
Oh, maybe this is the answer. No AI disruption for lipstick.
Yeah, no AI disruption. Super staple. It's actually doing well. Pretty like solid cash flows, and having a little bit of its own turnaround story here. So because of all those things, plus the technicals, yeah, I see $1,200 stock here. But anyways, moving on.
Can we do IREN real quick? Probably still looks bad, the chart.
They don't sell lipstick. Since clearly that's where we want to be. Oh God. Yeah, this is like what does Carter say? Pair of twos.
What?
Pair of twos. CBW.
What are you saying?
You don't know who I'm talking about right now. Wow.
Who's Carter? What the hell are you saying?
Okay. Carter Braxton Worth. Carter, you don't have Carter. Anyways,
It's from
42.
Who is Carter Braxtonworth? What are you talking about? Guys, what the hell is he what is this?
All right. So 42 was the inflection point. It was support. It's below it right now. I think this sees 30. And it's at an inflection point. So this is no trade here. If you get a bounce, it's in the 56s. I actually just don't see this bouncing yet. I see this coming down first.
Oh, he's the chartist for CNBC. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you think Iran gets hit. Can we do APLD, which again, the reason that's down is because NVIDIA sold their stake, but.
Oh, this is the one. I was thinking ONDS, but this was actually the chart I was talking about. I was thinking about. It was at 40 because I took this upside for a little bit. Swear to God, I did. You wouldn't think I'd trade this. I traded it one time recently. And then I'm like, no, because it was going to look that now top of the box. It can bounce and go choppy for a little bit, but I still think this ultimately sees 28s again. You need to hold 28. Otherwise, it's 21. But it's a massive consolidation range here.
Okay. Zeta. This one got caught up with the SAS.
Yeah, I'm not changing this. Well, it is definitively SAS, except it's higher, even higher beta SAS. So I would still look at, if you like something like Zeta, first of all, Zeta is not, it's more like long-term kind of, YOLO shot. It's one where you do, if you like it, you take your shares, stick them in a drawer and check back on it in half a decade. But if you're around, but if you already took your shot, I wouldn't be adding here unless, and if you haven't added, then if you see as low 13s, cool. Take another shot. If you're really into it or haven't finished your position yet.
Why are people asking for Rich Tech Robotics? Guys, how many of you guys are in Rich Tech Robotics? Are people
What is
really
the ticker?
RR?
I almost did Rig. Rig's got to be good. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Random Switzerland stock. There you go.
This is not random, but okay.
You know this company? I don't know this company.
Yeah. Oil transport.
Yeah. Can we look at RR? Because people are asking about this.
RR. Yeah, I was waiting for you to tell me what the ticker is. Dude. I mean, so this is like Google, where it's like you hit your level. Like you hit it. Right? $2.82. You hit it. It's worse than Google. One time, you get it. Cool. You get a big old bounce. But that bounce is a counter trend rally because we're going down and it locks a lower high. And now here you are below your key support. So, I mean, can it get a counter trend bounce? Sure. If this is what we call like a liquidity grab, like it really could. But unless we see people stepping in, two.
I mean, they diluted too, so I could definitely lead them to get there as well. Amcor.
Okay, here we go. Pray for everybody. Yeah, not so bad.
They lost the entire earnings bump as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, then it needs to hold at half.
Needs to hold 44 at least.
Well, look, 44 is good. 44 is 2024 all-time high. Did you know that? I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Is a major level here. So Amcor historically had not spent, and I did this a long time ago. Amcor had not spent a lot of time in that $44 range. So if Amcor is going to grow into some new valuation, you actually should expect it to spend some time in this range developing a new what we would call like point of control. And so, because before then we were talking about $30 stock, right? And so this is a breakout from here to here. I don't think that you get to see 35, but I think you could see 40 and that possibly still be a dip buy. But otherwise, if it loses 40, it's 30 again. But it's gonna try and make a new home in that $45, $40 to $45 range right now.
Okay. Pagaya, PGY.
Who?
PGY.
Oh,
Pagaya.
there's another. What's Progeny? Progeny. I remember. What are we doing here, dude?
Look, this has a lot of FinTwit buzz and fintech.
I've heard somebody ask me about this before.
Yeah, I really
What
don't
do they
know.
do?
They're a payments platform. I believe they're in Latin America. Am I wrong, guys?
AI data networks for financial industry.
No, they're not. These guys aren't Latin American. They're payments, though. They got tanked on earnings pretty badly.
Is this like an upstart?
No, they're not
No.
underwriting loans. They're doing something. Consumer credit scoring, yeah.
I'd have to know more about the company's like leadership to have an opinion here one way or the other. Like, is it going to be better? What's the word? Genes than the Affirmed founders, but
You don't like it. Same downturn.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do 5 more. I know the last one I want Jason to do, so I'm going to wait for one for the last because I'll get him going on it. But let's do 4 more and then we'll be done. No, that was the last. I was going to do IBM last.
Oh, son of a biscuit! All right, let's move
on. Bloom Energy, BE.
Dude, why is Ulta the ultimate stock on the list right now? I'm so shocked. Also happy because I own it. Apparently I should own a lot more. I have a couple we can look at. Yeah, no, Bloom, no. It's high beta. I like energy. I believe in the whole energy thesis, but this just lost the 20-day here. So I could see this around 120 again. Not because of this, but let's see. It was on its way to 180, just a doll hair shy of that. 120s is going to be a better pullback on this guy. Possibly 115s, but yeah, it's consolidating right now. So let it make it a lot. You want this to make a higher low. So you just made a new high. Structure's intact. So high, new high. This is the last low, right? So you want to make a higher low, which means anywhere in here. That's what that means.
Broadcom.
You were gonna save IBM for me, dude. That's so nice.
Yeah, I wanted to give you the floor, you know. Broadcom also same thing as NVIDIA, right? Just
yeah,
ugly.
But this is tighter. This is more bearish than NVIDIA. Now it had a shot to hold up 345. That was a decent 296 whatever dip, or 315. Make the bounce new low. So 315 was the level here, but that broke. So we got a new low, and if this was the last high, we now have a lower high. So it did tag 315 again today, which puts this kind of like in the spot with everything else. So I think this is a wait, but it's not super constructive. Like, you don't want to see this below 315. It's way more in the space where you can actually get a move like this and then right like that. Like this looks like it's about to exit consolidation and go into a discovery mode, which could be like wick you out like crazy. Looks like a dangerous one right now.
Yeah, especially if they say anything nasty on the earnings that the street's not expecting. Micron, which David Tepper bought 1 million shares of in Q4.
45 days ago. Who?
Yep.
This
Dude,
was his exit liquidity or what?
I definitely think that, I mean, he basically doubled $200 million in 45 days. I think he sold some
Dude,
stock.
so good. So good. Like yeah. Anyways, so it's on the 20-day right now. So lower high, I would personally, because I had these two levels in mind. So 340 and 311. If this is a lower high and the trend is about to change, we should see this 362 break, meaning that we should see a new low. If Micron is actually going to shift trend, that 340 is the 50-day simple moving average, at which point I would expect a bounce. And then the 20-day would be coming back down. It could bounce and then it could do this one more time. So that's kind of like my trade plan right now, which means that tomorrow, so I already have a little starter downside on this right now. It's just a little starter, nothing crazy. If it starts losing this, like I might take this and add in strength because I don't know that we're going to get a pop depending on the market environment. This could just go straight down to 300. But for right now, my downside target is going to be 340. And we'll know real quick tomorrow if this is below 388. And that would be my downside target on Micron. Otherwise, if this is back over the 20-day and over really 417's cool, you can retest that upside, but it doesn't look that way at this moment in time. But I am short. Full disclosure.
Okay, last one before IBM, Shopify.
I'm actually getting alerts on Shopify right now. So my level was 109. Head and Shoulders played out. Full retracement 109. We called out this 109 level in the past. It's holding it. I'm getting alerts because I want to know like that they're stepping in. This is a big earnings move that was like, this is one of the worst instant earnings sell-offs I've seen in a very long time, this move on Shopify. So 109 remains the level. I can see a bounce. If this does not bounce higher than 126 on Choppy Shop, it's gonna remain in a downtrend. So this has got to get up over and hold 130s, which would be back over the 20-day. Until then, this is either going to go in strength or we're going to get a big move into 127s, which at that point I would actually be more cautious than optimistic because, yeah, I'm just not seeing a lot of buyers come in. Although, you know, if it holds here for a while, then that would be better to see a base form in that 112 to 109 area and then start to recover. But yeah, it's a spot. Shopify trades like a mean ex-girlfriend. like she'll tease you real bad. And she'll make you think that she's gonna go and she's like, ah, gotcha. That's how Shopify is. She's like that. So I'm very patient on this old gal.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, Steve was looking at the forward multiple on Shopify. It's almost similar to Palantir.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great company.
It's not that cheap.
It's a great company. So downside would be 83 if 109 doesn't hold. And this is like it's lost 120, and we now know what stocks do when they lose 120.
Yeah, literally, that's what happened to Hood. Literally, it's
what happens to every stock when they break over 70. We know where they go. You guys have seen it. It's such a wild concept, dude, or thing. How many times have you seen that play out, though? Like in the last year?
Ever since you mentioned it, it's been many times.
It's like in your face, right?
Yeah.
Netflix, lose 120. Here we are.
Yeah. Bitcoin. Lose 120.
Here we are.
All right, IBM. What do you got for us, Jason?
Dude, so I come from Silicon Valley. This is I'm totally biased, right? I worked for one of the largest IBM resellers in the country, by the way. So like I know the company, I know what they sell. So I'm super biased here. I just remember, and the real reason is I was like laughed out of a room as a rookie by bringing it up. And I'm like, you just don't mention this in the Valley. It is what it is. And so like for those reasons, I've always been somewhat biased. Anybody in Silicon Valley will know, but they're not AI. It's not true. All right, I'm going to shut up. But what's important to know is that I do know who their customers are, and their customers are like Nokia, Edison, really old customers, a lot of finance. They spend a lot of money with them. But when I look around, it's like that customer base is kind of dying, and they're going to get probably replaced by new companies, especially in this AI field. And so because of that, I know what those new customers, those new companies are also building. And it's not Watson, and it's not mainframes or Cobalt or any of that. And the shift to cloud was very Oracle-like to me. It's like they have a lot of data sets, but are they really going to be a cloud, like the cloud provider? Probably not. And so I've been watching this stock for the better part of 3 years, thinking this logic for the whole time. Finally, it's actually broken trend. And so losing the 200-day, this holds, what's the PE on IBM? This holds an extremely premium multiple, as I recall.
35. Sorry. No, 24.
24. So compared to like other things, I think if the logic here was that IGV is having a tough time, 45% of IBM's revenue is actually services. Now I just told you who their customers are and what they're selling to those customers, which makes it a little bit more at risk to me. But just my 2 cents, totally wrong. I could be very wrong. Who knows? Long story short, if the market was going to pick the next CRM, the next Adobe, my logic was that this is quote unquote safety. But when you look under the hood, it might not be so safe. And if there was a PE multiple that was going to get attacked next, that was my logic. And so that plus we now have the 3-year trend break right here. That's where I'm at. The lows here would be like 200s. And really, it's not even that bad for IBM. So, but coming down to trade this short into 200, it's really not that bad from a longer term perspective. If it gets real bad, then you're talking 135s. But
you're short right now, IBM.
I'm short right now. I'm adding to my short. I'm not taking my shorts off. I'm leaning into it like on the little bounces. I took some profit coming into the weekend because of the way the market works, we know, short covering happens usually on Fridays. And then we get that bounce into Monday, which was Tuesday this week. We get this little thing and we're here at the lows. So like if this breaches, I see 245 quickly, but it's really 220s down to 200s for a larger pullback, which by the way, from a long-term perspective, my story aside, is not even that bad for IBM. It's a very basic pullback to 200. So if you like it, maybe check it out at 220, 200, 200 to 200 week moving average. But to me, this is one where if I'm going to place a net new short, I'm still looking at this because of my logic here. If they turn this into a CRM or an Adobe, it's deeper than 2. So that's where I'm at on IBM. Not like a horrible company, but what they sell isn't cutting edge and it's extremely expensive. I'll say it's very expensive stuff that they sell.
All right. Well, that's what we have for Technical Tuesday, folks. I mean, the summary of this entire session was every chart besides a few looked disgusting, and you need to wait until key levels are breached to either buy into the reversal, if it is a reversal, or to actually get a real dip.
Yeah, I mean, they're decent dips right now, but they're not. And that's where we're looking across the boards. Like, they're decent dips. They could dip a little deeper. And then the rallies, you know, could take us into, I mean, Trump accounts, which are going to be the biggest. To me, Trump accounts would probably be the biggest market bull case moving forward.
Why
But
do you? That's only going to be like $4 billion entering the market.
is it? I didn't know the number. Is it 4 billion?
Yeah, it's like 3.8 million kids, $1,000 each. It's not that.
3 billion, 4 billion.
Yeah, 4 billion just gets put into the S&P, I guess. But it's good for Hood if they announce that they're controlling a majority of the accounts, right?
It's good for Hood. If it's just 4 billion, I don't know. We'll see. But like, that would be the only thing that in my head.
You're looking for bullish capital.
I'm grasping at straws here, guys. Like, I really want to be bullish. Like, I'm grasping at straws. But if not, I will do this. I will order Amit the new liquidated t-shirt, and you could wear it on stream.
If we get liquidated, I might have to.
Oh, here. What am I doing?
Summer will be better.
Or what? Yeah, there you go. This is the new liquidated shirt.
Did AI design that for you?
What do you mean?
AI.
No, these are our custom people. Liquidated.
That's crazy, dude.
You don't like I really thought that you would like this patience. It's a money tree, dude. It's a literal money tree.
We put Jason's link in the chat. You can get access to all of his stuff, his merch, his Discord, all that stuff.
I thought it was fire.
No, it is fire. But I do have a lot of merch from you already that I need to wear more often.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I really want to be bullish here. That's what I'll say. But the charts will tell me. And right now the charts is like more cautious than optimistic at the moment. We could have a face ripping rally still, but I'm just not seeing it.
Make a new t-shirt with "You've been liquidated."
The idea was like 1980s horror film, right? But there's even like a little Blockbuster logo on the back that says "Be kind, rewind, and don't over leverage."
Hold on, can we talk about so are we doing Charlie Brown? Like, is that the name?
What's the poll?
The poll was 50-50.
Oh my goodness.
It was 50-50. Like, at some point it got to 70-30, but
50-50.
Dude, I like it. First of all,
I like it.
What's the downside to Charlie Brown?
Well, here, the option 2 is to make that his or her middle name, I guess.
What would be the first name then?
I don't know. I'll break the tie. It's Charlie.
Do you want to? Can you tell us the name of your boy?
My boy's name is after my wife's father who passed, whose name is Mitchell. So Mitchie. Yeah.
Mitchell Brown is like, that flows. Like Mitchell.
Really?
Yeah, 100% that flows.
So he's named after my wife's father who passed. My dad passed, whose name was Michael. So it could do Michael, but then it'd be Mitchie and Mikey. I don't know. What if it's a boy? I don't know if it's a boy or a girl.
I like Charlie, but are you doing it because of the cartoon, or you're doing it because you just like?
No, I genuinely like the name, and then I was like, damn. And I'm not doing James because, like, my whole life growing up, some people called me James Brown. Like, that's not happening.
I like Charlie. I like it. I think it works. But you have time. But I mean, how do you feel? That's a second kid. That's a big life moment for you.
Well, I feel great. Like, I'm good. I feel I'm happy, dude. I was worried because, like, I feel good because they're not too far apart, which is why I think some people would probably have guessed, because at least this way they're going to go to the same high school together for sure.
Yeah. Cause your son's what, 2?
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I think it's so important. Like, my cousin, I love her, but she has an 8-year age gap with her brother. And it really has not helped their relationship. Cause like, she's in college and he's like going to middle school. Like,
I have
really
2 brothers
the age gap
that are wider gap than 8 years, actually. and I just they're my brothers, but like, you know, I'm by far the youngest.
Yeah, and it's tough, dude. Like when you're that far, like me and my sister are 4 years, and I think that's perfect. It's a really decent gap. So 2 years, I think, is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, you know, there was this thing like one, I was like, well, if me and wifey aren't around, at least he'll have a sibling when we're gone, which would be good. Something I don't, you know, like I don't know, that it's a weird thought, but also there's that. So that's cool.
No.
And if it doesn't work out for me in retirement, then I've doubled down on my retirement through them, right? So they can take care of me when I'm old. But I mean, assuming they don't come out as, they're not going to be lemons. They're good. They're good.
Yeah, look at that. Tess says I have a 20 and 16-year-old and a 4 and 3-year-old. The 4 and 3-year-old are best friends for life.
Yep.
Also, we got to make more babies on this planet, right? Like,
yeah, what are you doing, dude? I thought you were going to open up your Only Gains. Oh, it's because you weren't wearing the shirt, the OnlyFans shirt. And it's Robinhood Social that's holding you back. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Vladdy, if you're out there, the second you open that bad boy up, this guy's going to get flooded.
Yeah, Robinhood Social, which I might get early access to potentially, but
really,
I think they're letting a bunch of people on it. But
are we going to be able to push trades?
From my understanding, yes, but they've got to roll it out, bro. They've been talking about it for 5 months. They got to actually get it out into beta and like let people play with it. But yeah, I think you'll be able to do anything from the
Put in a good word for me.
Oh wow, Atlassian freezes hiring and business software market term. Is that stock down? It's flat. See, here's the other thing. The software sell-off, if now these companies say, all right, we're going to just stop hiring people if our stock keeps going down because the market thinks AI is killing us.
I mean, some will do that, right? So like if we're getting that, companies have two options, right? One, they can strap in, hunker down, freeze all like capital expenditures and start cutting things left and right, or they can double down. Those are really the two options that a company legitimately has in this environment. Yeah. We'll see what they end up doing. I think the aggressive ones will take aggressive moves. Like, you know, you got to give it up to Larry Ellison and Oracle. I mean, this is a 50-year-old company, 81-year-old CEO trying to shift legacy SaaS into Neo Cloud, right? Good game, A for effort, but it's at least they're swinging for the fences. Does it work? Probably not. But you know, it's an attempt.
Dude, and Ellison doesn't even sell stock. It's not like the stock went to 350 and he cashed out. He is like I think last sell was 2023. He doesn't sell. You know, that's why he owns so much of it.
Yeah.
So
he's not going to sell. Doesn't Oracle report soon too?
I think next week after NVIDIA. Oracle.
No, I don't have anything for a while. It's a while, actually.
Oh, that
right. Might be a short. That's probably got more to go, dude.
March 9th.
Yeah, so that one we see 140s again. Maybe I had 115s on the Oracle. I mean, that one, that what I just said, if it's a 50-year-old company shifting legacy SaaS into Neo Cloud, is the market story. Whether or not it's true, it doesn't matter, but that's kind of like the market mentality right now. I'm just joking around, but it's facts. So it's like rough.
All right, so please make sure to follow Jason on X. If you click on the link in his description, you have access to everything, including his Discord, merch.
Oh. Yes. Connie asking about an NFP webinar. We will do another webinar because NFP was off this month. We'll do a webinar next month. And then for the apprenticeship, can I give you a different link, Amit?
Yes.
I'll text it to you or something. But if you go to papergains.com, that's fine for right now. If you want, we're gonna release another round of classes for the apprenticeship. I think at the end of the week. So head over there. It's just papergains.com. I think you can click on the Discord community and then it'll take you to kind of setting up a call or something like that. Actually, and then you can join for free. I will have to give you a link and then we can put it in the strict description.
Yeah, and I'll put this link right now in the description. And yes, I believe Jason will be at the LA meetup.
Yeah, I'll be there.
So it'll be very fun to have him there. LA meetup again. I'll put the link in the chat for those that want to be there. But yeah, I think that meetup's going to be fun. And, you know, maybe we get through some of this February slop as we head into the end of March. And we'll keep going from there.
Cool.
And then again, Jason is live every Monday. So please make sure.
Well, I wasn't live yesterday.
Yeah, it was,
We were close.
Yeah.
As long as we're open. But I'm live in the server all the time. The server's open up for free. The live is for like if you're trading with us. But yeah, hop in. I think it's really like if you wanna, if you oh, they're sending me it's schoolofgains.com. I'll
yeah, send me the updated link.
tweet it to you.
Yeah, that works. We'll be live tomorrow, guys. Market open as usual. Tomorrow earnings in the morning are Moody's, Fiverr, Wingstop, SolarEdge. And then after hours, we have DoorDash, Figma. I know that's a big one. Cheesecake Factory, Oxy, eBay, and Carvana. So those are the earnings we will cover tomorrow as well.
Moody's. That's one that's been getting absolutely decimated, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
MCO is the ticker. It's going to be an interesting one. FICO already reported, but yeah, that's that thing is in the dumper too. That's like, these are like UNH moments, dude. Multiple UNH moments.
Yeah, and then UNH recovered kind of, and then it got dumped again. So hopefully there's more momentum in some of these tickers.
Yeah, I just sent you the link.
All right, perfect.
What's up with Figma? I don't know. 21 buckaroos Figma. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if Adobe had actually purchased Figma for that insane price? Like how much worse Adobe could be?
Yeah. Yeah. It wouldn't have been the best.
No, it would not have been the best.
All right, folks. That is it for us. Again, Jason's links in the description and in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll be live tomorrow. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Adios. Peace.
Bye, everyone.